on a Little Giant King Combo 6-foot ladder. Was $199, now $149. Plus, save $100 on a DeWalt XR 20-volt Power Stack 5 amp-hour battery. Was $199, now $99. Get these can't-miss deals now before they're gone. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Doorbusters valid 1/13 through 1/15. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Homeowners, it's time to start fresh in 2025. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is here to help you take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payment and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto. Lock in a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The family media plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey!
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Lots of sunshine and on the mild side today, but more cold air arrives tonight, this afternoon. A high of 47 under sunny skies, but we drop to 22 tonight, and the wind chill will be down into the teens. Tomorrow is sunny but cold with a high of 40.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 90 points to 42,387.
Possible 2-on-1. Strome takes the shot, blocked away by Kochetkov. He spins, shot right, drag, Leeson, another shot, another save, still loose. Somehow Kochetkov got a piece, and then his teammates bail him out the rest of the way. They're going it back, Natchez, Aho, side of it, they score! Svechnikov! And keep this one on the board. Burns, right back for Natchez. Natchez to Jarvis, and he scores! Seth Jarvis!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. On a Tuesday, what's going on, everybody? I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. I don't want to say it's a quiet Tuesday. Duke is playing Miami, so there's some action from the teams that we cover. Miami is dead last in the ACC, so it might be a little bit of a quiet Tuesday. But I think that's good, specifically for the Canes. Carolina Hurricanes yesterday had the in-season hockey equivalent of like the field day picnic at the office, right? Where your boss is the cool boss. You show up, everybody go around out back to the parking lot. We have picnic tables set up. We're going to do some barbecuing and some cornhole. Everybody take a break today. And why does a boss do that? Same reason why I think yesterday might have been good for the Canes. You do it to reset the batteries. You do it because you think everybody might be wound a little tight. Everybody's been hammering out those TPS reports a little too angrily. Every single email that you read is starting with, as per what I said before. Right? All the passive aggressive stuff, and the boss just goes, you know what? I think we need to fire up the grill out back. Who wants some burgers? Canes yesterday, there was an alumni game, just good vibes. Rod Brindamore scored a goal. There was Seth Jarvis at Canes Corner. If you want good vibes, give a microphone to Seth Jarvis. There was not a game other than the alumni game to play. And there's not a game today. So not like at that evening, it's not even like, well, you still got to get to bed early because you got a day to recover. There was a good vibes day for the Canes. And I think it's a good time to set what you want, set your coordinates for the next 3 months. Yesterday, right, because sometimes I do think we meaning I, throw the we out there so I can share blame with all these mythical people that stand behind me.
The royal we.
Yeah. We, meaning I, sometimes need to take a step back and explain my base level for the Canes, right? Because sometimes I get to nitpicking and I get to, they need to do this and this doesn't feel right, and you watch the game and you're unfulfilled, and then something like yesterday happens where Dennis just goes, well, they are a postseason team. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yes, they are, right? And there's a bunch of teams in the NHL that would love to be in the position the Canes are in now. And then after that, right, because once the universe wants you to know something, it just keeps pounding you over the head with it. Dennis kind of goes, well, postseason team. And then last night I go home and I'm on ESPN.com watching the game, got the computer out, and I see ESPN graded every NHL team's first half. And I'm like, ooh, let me go see what the Canes are. And I'm expecting. You ever turn in like a paper and you're expecting just red pen all over it from the teacher? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking they're going to get them, right? They're going to get them for not getting the goalie situation settled. They're going to get them for this scoring drought some of their players are on. They're going to get them for not winning 3 straight games since mid-November. They're going to get them A-.
I got a 93. All right, let's go.
Yeah, it's like, really? You don't even want to go up and like ask questions about it because you don't want the teacher to go, oh, sorry. No. That was supposed to be a 73. My bad. I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. You just take it and you run.
Did you read the last page? Yeah,
exactly.
I didn't do good.
Yeah. You didn't notice that I finished. It was a 5-page paper. I finished with 4 and then just used a thesaurus to add words throughout. You didn't even catch that one? The line that kind of encompassed, and this is straight from the ESPN article, was Carolina has stayed on track despite some recent setbacks, particularly with their goaltending and scoring. Now, hilarious, right? Goaltending and scoring. That's like if it wasn't for that pitching and hitting, the baseball team was really, right where they started. I was surprised, but also it's a good reminder that my expectations for the Canes are so high that I can feel a little angry sometimes, and outsiders are looking at it going, A-. Still a postseason team. It also adds to something that I think the Canes have as an advantage, which is they can use the next 3 months. Almost exactly, by the way. Last year, their postseason started April 20th, being January 14th. So 3 months in a week. They can use the next 3 months with the postseason as a due date, right? That's when you have to be ready. They can plan as if they are a postseason team, which is an advantage. They don't have to unload all of their ammunition to make sure they make the postseason. If they keep playing the way they're playing, they'll be there in the dance at the end, which is an advantage. Seth Jarvis, I mentioned yesterday, he was on the Canes Corner. He was the guest of honor. You could have heard it right here on 99.9 The Fan. We have some clips just to refresh what Seth was saying. Here he is talking about this team being judged on postseason success.
There's only one winner. I mean, you see all the time the team that wins the President's Trophy in the regular season doesn't always win the Stanley Cup, and that's kind of the mindset that I think everybody has now, is just doing the best you can to get into playoffs. Then right when playoffs starts, a whole new season, everyone's at the same level. No one's won anything. Everyone starts 0-0. So it's kind of just having that mindset of getting into the playoffs, and then from there is really when kind of takes that next step, and that's kind of the hump we're trying to get over.
You can catch, if you missed it, or that just kind of sparked something you want to hear the full conversation. Video is up on our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, of the entire Canes Corner broadcast last night. Seth is right. They will be judged on the postseason. So the question is, how do you best use the next 3 months to be ready for when you are judged for the postseason, to not have the things that are annoying or unfulfilling or not getting it done now not be a problem then? More from Jarvis last night on the team figuring it out.
Ups and downs, like every kind of year. I think this year has been a little bit different. I feel the last couple of years have been a really good regular season team. I think this year we're kind of sputtering a little bit, but I mean, like you said, we're in a playoff spot. We're getting better each and every game, and I think we're starting to figure out our identity.
Ooh, trying to figure it out. Starting to figure it out. I think the Canes have always had an identity, if we're being honest. I think the Canes are one of the few teams in the NHL. You could take off the jerseys, you could put them in blank uniforms, you run them out there, skate them out there, I should say, and you watch a game, you'll be able to identify who it is. To me, there's two things the next 3 months are about. One, figure out if your postseason goalie is on the roster and who it is, if they are. Is it Kochetkov, and you're going to let him work through some of the things that have been kind of, pebble in the shoe as of recently? If it's Kochetkov, then you do everything you can to help him work through that. Are you okay with yourself if it's Freddie Anderson and it doesn't work out again? I know that's not always the best way to make decisions, but sometimes think of yourself in the future. Think of it not working out. Right, you lose in the second round again. Are you going to hate yourself if it's Freddie Anderson that wasn't able to get it done again? Sometimes I think about when I'm gambling, if I'm sports gambling, making a pick, and I'm like, I don't know which side I want to be on here, and I think of, you know what, it's like a Mahomes deal, right? Like if I pick against the Chiefs and I lose, I'm gonna feel like an idiot. If you pick Freddie Anderson to get it done in the postseason, stay healthy and step up in the biggest moments, and it doesn't work out, are you really going to sit there and be cool and be, you know what, I'd made the right call? Or are you going to be like, history kind of told me this is how I was going to break out. Probably should have seen it coming. So figure out the goalie, and that's more that leads to more questions. It's not a direct path to an answer. And then also this. I agree and I defend Rod Brindamore in almost everything. And he will forget more hockey than I will ever know. I do think I have a pretty good idea of what goes through athletes' brains, though, and how they react. And if there's one thing that I just go, and it happens in the postseason a lot, but it definitely happens down the stretch, is sometimes I'm going like, I wish he would be it's not 10%. It's like 35% more patient with certain lines. I think he gets to shuffling and trying new things a little quick in the biggest moments. So the next 3 months, figure out what the lines that you love are, and then be prepared to be patient with them. Right? If it's Svetch, Stahl, and Martinook, which I actually kind of like the way they've been looking as of late, then even if they start with like 2 games of shifts you're not happy with, let that one rock. If it's Rozovic, Aho, Jarvis, what else do we have going right now? Kind of Robinson, KK, Natchez. Like if that's what you like, experiment over the next 3 months. Make sure it's what you like. Make sure. I'm not saying you have to decide now and then it's that forever. But when the games get biggest, I think athletes do better with routine. I think they like knowing who they're next to. I think they get those things kind of locked in. And if you start shaking, it can rattle their confidence a bit. So that's what I think the next 3 months are about. Understanding that you've put yourself in a situation with the level of hockey you play, the players you've assembled, that you don't have to necessarily worry, at least not yet unless things take a giant turn, worry about making the postseason. You have to worry about being ready for the postseason. Goalie, stability. That's what I'm looking for.
Speaking of postseason, we have a question on our YouTube live chat. How far do you think the Carolina Hurricanes will advance in the postseason? Let us know your thoughts there.
99.
Clinton says maybe second round.
Maybe second round?
Said if they could play consistently and defend the better goaltending.
I'd say I didn't know if maybe was
maybe second
like a
round
positive maybe or a negative maybe, right? Like maybe second, could be a conference championship round, conference finals, or is it maybe second if everything goes well? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think many within that building would be stoked with their ceiling being second round, which is kind of what Clinton's getting at there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again, the question posted on our 99.9 The Fan YouTube live stream right there in the comments. Feel free to put your answers there. Give us some justification, some reasoning, and you just might hear your answer live here on air later in the show. The postseason for the Canes, 3 months away. The offseason for the Panthers started already like a while ago. If they've taken their week, the decision makers have taken their week, done their vacation, hung out with their family, now it's time to make tough decisions. What free agents should be coming back? Stick around.
It's bowl season. Listen for college football's best through January 20th. Every major bowl will be brought to you live.
Jack Sawyer, the defensive end, coming up with the biggest play in Arlington, Texas, that could have Ohio State headed to Atlanta.
Bowl season on 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports is presented by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford, Amedios, and Roofworks.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles two-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. 2025 needs to start clean. Get all that dirt from 2024 out of your carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, every surface in your house, because in 2025, we're starting Zero Resified. Biggest sale of the year. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned, starting at just $109, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning while you're at it. Offer is open through January 31st, so visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to understand our history. It goes back 60 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds only to high-end jewelers. Then eventually the wholesalers started selling direct to the public, and that started a revolution. Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values are the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering. Our warranties and guarantees are rock solid. And our people are laser focused on helping you find the diamond of your dreams. We invite you to experience a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Showroom hours, directions, and more online at DiamondsDirect.com. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics. And proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
For new carpet, the Home Depot is your destination. With a large assortment of affordable carpeting in the brands, styles, and colors you need. And for new carpet savings, the Home Depot also has you covered. With 10% off all special order carpeting right now. Enjoy long-lasting comfort at a great price and free installation. Offer valid January 9th through January 26, 2025. Receive 10% off special order carpet and installation. Installation included in select markets with qualifying purchase. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Young under center. Here's the snap. Play fake. Rolling right. Throws back of the end zone. Tommy Tremble. Center cut. Wide open. Touchdown, Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Love the vibe coming out of a commercial break. Dennis Cox playing the tunes coming out of break. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Panthers have what I consider a really fun offseason coming up, and we're going to be along for the ride. Okay, they have stability for the first time. They have what looks like a young core for the first time in a while. But they do have some veteran decisions to make. I went and looked up all their free agents. There are some that are, let's just call them right there, they're tiny little decisions, but there's some more interesting ones. Andy Dalton, a couple of offensive linemen that played a decent amount. Austin Corbett, Brady Christensen, a couple of tight ends that played a decent amount. Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas, Shaq Thompson, franchise legend. Mike Jackson, one of the pleasant surprises in the secondary at corner. Pretty much every safety on their depth chart outside of the youngster Damani Richardson. Xavier Woods, Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott, Sam Franklin, Lonnie Johnson, all free agents. Pretty much everyone whose name you know as a special teamer. Long snapper, J.J. Jansen, kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, punter, Johnny Hecker, all free agents. So the I don't want to call it a lazy question, but the surface question is, who do you want back? Who looks at you there and you say, I like that player, we should bring them back? Yeah. But also, I think that's kind of the byproduct of the answer to other questions. Where do you want to add young stars? Then fill in the rest with vets, and that might be bringing someone back. I read an entire article about, just came out recently, about Shaq Thompson and where he is in his career. And I went in expecting to learn a bunch about Shaq Thompson. But guess who I learned a bunch about? Thomas Davis. Why? Because it told, basically Shaq Thompson was going like, now I'm the old guy. I'm up here talking about trying to hang on and trying to continue to play, and I want to stay with Carolina. But they've drafted Trevin Wallace, and they've brought in younger guys, and who knows where I fit in their plans, which is exactly where Thomas Davis was early in Shaq Thompson's career. And now they played 3 or 4 years together. They overlapped, but it was a good revisit of Thomas Davis, right? Because played on a Super Bowl team. He was a Pro Bowler. He had some. He's the all-time franchise-leading tackles, about 20 more than Luke Kuechly. Like he's that dude, but he finished his career elsewhere. And I don't think that says anything about Thomas Davis. It says something about Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson was one of the young players in their core that they wanted to build around, so they had to let Thomas Davis go. Which young players are there, and then whoever the older guys are at that position, they're going to have to go anyway. The others you might want to keep around. It's do you this offseason, are you looking at the draft, and they got a bunch of picks? Do you see a deep safety draft where you can add one in the draft, or do you have one you want to target in free agency? If you have that, cool. If not, you might want to stay in touch with somebody like Xavier Woods for the right price. You might want to stay in touch with someone like Jordan Fuller or Nick Scott or Sam Franklin for the right price. Depth for some of those guys. Do you want to spend more at center? Do you want to use a draft pick at center in addition to the $153 million in contracts you dished out last offseason to a couple of guards and the expected big payout that will be necessary to keep somebody like Ike Ekwonu around for a while? And Taylor Moton's already making big money. Do you want to spend even more at center? If not, you can do a lot worse than Corbett or Christensen. But the questions aren't about those guys as much as they are about the young core that you're growing, the young core that you are trying to water and give nutrients to and sunlight and blossom into an oak tree. That's what you're looking at, right? I mean, Tommy Tremble, I like. Ian Thomas as a blocker, I think is for the right price somebody that'll be on an NFL roster next year. The question on if you bring them back is how much do you want to depend on Deion Sanders, and is there someone else younger, cheaper, draft worthy, free agent worthy that you want to bring in to take the tight end room to another level? The one that I would answer differently than all the rest is Andy Dalton. I would be interested in keeping Andy Dalton. Again, everything is price dependent, right? He's got to be willing to come back for a total that I'm okay with. But he and Bryce, they navigated the impossible this year. The fact that every time you cut to either of them, no matter who was starting, who was playing, or how well they were playing, they were on the sideline, they were chatting a lot. That's a very difficult situation to navigate as the veteran and the rookie. And I know Bryce Young got a lot of credit for how he handled everything mentally, but so should Andy Dalton. And for all of the craziness that took place between week 1 and the final week of the season where Bryce got better, I'm not sure you want to change much in that incubator. Right? I'm not sure you want to change much in that environment that Bryce improved so greatly within. So Andy Dalton is somebody I would bring back again for the right price. Andy showed he might not be as good as he once was, but he might be as good once as he ever was. He can give you a game or two if you need to go to him for a sprained thumb or something from Bryce. My point is, who do you want out of the unrestricted free agents is a question that can only be answered with, well, have you done your evaluation, your preliminary evaluations on the draft? Have you done your preliminary evaluations on free agency? If there is a place where you don't think there is any value or you think it's a very shallow draft, I think you look to those veterans that you may trust and try to bring them back first. It's not just do you like them. They probably like all the guys, honestly. It seemed like everybody in that locker room they were on like a camping trip or something this year. Everybody just had a good time.
Every time I went to the locker room, you can tell that this group knew, hey, we're working on building something here.
That's why you need the lesson learned in Moneyball by Jonah Hill. I might have to cut him, so I don't want to become friends with him. The front office has to make those decisions, but I believe they would like, at the right price, a lot of these guys back. The reason I wouldn't bring a lot of them back or all of them back is because you don't want them to suffocate younger players who need that space to flourish. And there's a lot of young guys that I like.
Very few guys on defense I bring back. When you literally have the worst defense in the NFL, I would not bring very many of these guys back. It's as simple as that. You mentioned Jordan Fuller. The guy was literally a healthy scratch late in the season for Damani Richardson. Writing on the wall, you ain't coming back, bud.
I like Damani. The one thing I would, obviously. The one thing I would say is I don't mind bringing guys back. I don't want to call it a demotion, but we talk about it with receivers because it's most easy, most like obvious and easy to comprehend. If you're a wide receiver 2 and I don't like you there, but I can bring you back as a wide receiver 4, like that's one thing. If I don't like you as a starting safety, but you can be a special teamer in depth safety, that's different. So it's players have to be honest with themselves, and if they can go make starter money elsewhere, that's hey, go listen to your agent, go do you. Same is true for somebody like Ian Thomas. If Ian Thomas is aware that he's a third tackle and I'm going to do everything I can to never attempt to pass to him, and he's willing to take the money that comes with that, I might be more interested in him at tight end. If he wants to go be an every down tight end and catch 30 balls a year, I wish you luck in your future endeavors elsewhere. So I agree the defense was bad. I don't agree necessarily that everyone on that defense that was bad doesn't have a role in the NFL moving forward. It's just probably not being depended upon as much as they were this year. And I say probably, almost certainly not being depended upon as much as they were this year. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And the best part about it is it's a long off season to get it all done. Dan Morgan, work your magic. Follow us on our YouTube live stream as well, 99.9 The Fan. That's my personal favor from all of you. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Gordon Miller and Miller Lending are the home of the no closing cost loan. They're also the home of no hidden fees, no hidden rates. Not only is there no closing costs, no third-party fees, but also the numbers you hear are the numbers you get. I use this analogy a bunch, but for some reason it's the airlines that always get me. Oh, look at this. This ticket is way cheaper and getting to the same place as this ticket. Let's go with this one. And then you start like registering, you put your name in, okay, put time, all right. All right, my check in the bag, it says check in the bag's $100. No. Oh, it says carrying on a bag is $150. Oh, they got me coming and going. Do I want to lay over in Dallas? No. Oh, that's another $100. What? Do I want water? Maybe. Do I want to use the bathroom? Sure. All of a sudden, all of those fees, and it's a much more expensive ticket. Same is true here. You might see a cheaper rate somewhere than Miller Lending, but then you get to the closing costs, you get to the third-party fees, you get to the administration fees, you get to fees. Was it really cheaper than what Miller Lending offered you? I don't think so. Go ahead and give them a call, 919-447-3377. They can tell you all about the no closing cost loan, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll be back after this with the Dean's List, and Coach K has an idea to potentially save the ACC. Stick around to hear it.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, I love the fact that the Tar Heels have won their last 2 games. Here's what I am worried about, though. They're doing it without being able to rebound the ball on the offensive end. They have to get second chance points. That's what their offense has been built on forever. Since I have been alive, they have lived on the offensive glass. This team can't do it. They just don't have enough size.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. And see why? It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Available in app only. T&Cs apply.
Can your heating and air system handle the winter chill? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code KIND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code KIND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code KIND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am doing a commercial for somebody, I am vouching for who they are and what they do. You guys do great work, but your customer service stands above all the great work that you do.
Adam, I truly appreciate that testimonial. And yeah, we try to take pride in our customer service and meet and exceed our homeowners' expectations on all their home improvement needs. Obviously, there's many companies out there that do what we do. If you Google home improvements Raleigh, you're going to get many, many companies. But you're not going to find too many companies out there that have a 4.9 rating and over 800 Google reviews and over 7,000 Guild quality reviews. It takes a lot of work on our part to make sure we meet and exceed all your expectations on customer service. And we're going to continue to do so because that's why we've been in business since 1961.
I have used the aluminum company. I have not heard anyone that had anything but incredible things to say about all of you, and that is amazing. That's a testimony to how you guys do it. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Game clock down to 6. Cadeau fouled on the 3, and he makes it!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. On a Tuesday, what's going on, everybody? The Dean's List, something we do every day right about this time, highlighting the good in college sports, somebody that deserves praise, maybe isn't being praised enough. The Bell Means class is in session. I have 3 names here on my Dean's List. Dennis, do you have one to add here today as well?
I might have one.
Right,
I might have one to chip in.
Then somebody else may be added to the list. I'll start with Wake Forest guard Cam Hildreth. Against Miami, who, by the way, Miami stinks. But on the road against Miami, Cam Hildreth had 31 points, 6 of 8 from 3. I asked this question the other day. Can you have a quiet 31-point ACC conference game scoring day?
Apparently you can.
You shouldn't be able to, which is why I'm talking about it multiple days in a row for Cam Hildreth. I also love when you think you know a player and then they remind you that there's something else they can do. Hildreth for Wake sometimes settles into like veteran guard, makes the right plays, right? Hustle. Coach Steve Forbes talks about him all the time as a leader, a coach out there on the floor. And then every once in a while he's like, yeah, I can catch fire too. I can score 30. 31 is 31. That's just a lot of points in a conference game. Hunter Salas had 22 points in that game also, so that's to be expected. Hildreth is the unusual.
And that's my guy on the Dean's List, actually, is Hunter Salas. Right. Because of 5 straight games of scoring 20-plus for his team.
Whether his teammates scored 31 or not, Salas is good. Let's just call a spade, and he's depended upon quite a bit by Wake Forest. Some thought he was going to go pro last year. I can see why you might come back if your whole role is like, go have fun and take a bunch of shots.
I'm in.
Probably not going to get that at the pro level, are you? Go ahead and let it fly. Next Dean's List member from my side here, Elliot Cadeau. And UNC, they beat NC State. What I like is 11 assists in that game, including the game winner, right? Including the kind of short distance, acrobatic off-platform, thing like a quarterback, right? Off-platform, weird arm angle, throw to Washington for the win. Ended up being the go-ahead bucket. What I like is Elliot Cadeau started this season. You can tell he put the time in, right? He was not a great three-point shooter last year. Showed up this year with dreams of, look at what I added to my game, everybody. I'm a shooter now. I'm a scorer now. I even got entranced by it. There was a little section there where it was I don't know, 5 out of 6 games. He was in double figures. He was knocking down threes. I was like, oh, look at this. We thought it was R.J. Davis and Ian Jackson. Elliot Cadeau's going to be scoring, and Seth Trimble, but Elliot Cadeau's going to be scoring. Since then, it's gone cold. Some other guys have taken over the scoring bulk of that responsibility, and he's able to go back to and figure out that, just because I spent my entire offseason shooting a bunch of threes and setting myself up for that might not be what the team needs me right now. That might not be what the team needs me to do right now. They need me to be more of a setup guy. So in a rivalry game on the road that we need to win, let me give you 11 helpers. Let me set everybody else up. Find a way to impact the game whether I'm a scorer or not. I just think that a quick adjustment by a young player is pretty impressive. And then finally, Another college basketball player here, Kaman Malawash of Duke, 19-10. There's a bunch of first double-doubles. Could have put Jalen Washington on this list. His first double-double for UNC. Kaman Malawash got his first double-double for Duke. 6 of 7 from the field. First career 10-rebound day. It just happened to be the same game that Cooper Flagg had 42 and broke a bunch of records. ACC records, freshman records, Duke freshman records. You're not going to get a ton of praise when someone else on your team scores 42 points in the game. So I wanted to make sure Malawash's day didn't go kind of by the wayside, because a 19-10 double-double for a young player that's developing every day is worth a little bit of worth a gold star. So there you go. That's the Dean's List. I threw Cam Hildreth of Wake, Elliot Cadeau of UNC, Kaman Malawash from Duke. Dennis threw Hunter Salas from Wake Forest on the Dean's List. It's like an honor roll. They all earn a little bit of credit from us. Keep it up. We want those GPAs high. Don't slouch now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The new, if you listen to enough sports media, but there's a little bit inside baseball for people in the sports radio and sports media world. Fixing baseball is a thing. Every July, everybody wants to fix baseball. Well, there's too many games. Oh, they need players mic'd up. Oh, why the pitch clock needs to fix. This is why baseball is losing viewership. This is what. Here's what you need to fix. That conversation is never going to end, because baseball is just inherently a regional sport now, and it's not going to be nationally what the NFL is or what some other sports are. The new one, though, that I'm hearing a lot is how to fix college sports. How do you fix it? Okay, everybody gets a one-time transfer, and then if you want to transfer after that, you have to sit out a year. You need multi-year contracts. There's got to be this. There's got to be that. There's got to be this. If coach leaves, everybody wants to fix college sports. We can have those debates. Coach K was on Sirius XM talking about how to save the ACC. Coach K wants to challenge the Big Ten and the SEC for college sports total domination by creating a mega conference between the ACC and the Big East. We have some of the audio here for you. This is Coach K talking about the ACC and where it stands compared to the SEC and Big Ten.
The two conferences, power conferences that are ahead, are the SEC and the Big Ten. And so our conference has been a great one. I think it needs to get better. We're down result-wise in both men's basketball and in football, at least the bowl games.
All right, so he's established the lay of the land, right? He understands where the targets are, what the hierarchy is. How does he think the ACC could chase them down? As I said, a mega conference is on his mind. Here's more from Coach K.
I'd like to see something innovative, like I'd like to see the ACC and the Big East talk and form a mega basketball conference. People are talking about a mega football conference eventually. Imagine if we had the Big East. And you know what? But Connecticut would have the opportunity to play football in our league. At least talk about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine our footprint.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
And the quality of basketball to go along with the tradition of basketball in our conference.
First of all, no idea is a bad idea, right? We're at we're in the big conference room with the whiteboard. Come on, kick your ideas out. Come on. So credit to Coach K, who is from the traditional old guard, for at least being willing to talk about something that I'm sure 20, 30 years ago he would have thought was complete blasphemy. So they're making progress. Secondly, don't be so nice. You're being too nice, Coach K. College sports, you don't partner, you conquer. You don't negotiate, you don't form a line. You dominate and you conquer. And oh, by the way, you don't talk about it, you be about it, right? Because he kept saying, just talk about it. Just bring these things up. Just talk about it. No, don't talk about it. Be about it. If you want UConn, let's say UConn, look at the Big East, Villanova, Georgetown, and Creighton. Take UConn, Villanova, Georgetown, and Creighton. Don't just be nice and go, sure, we'll bring the anchors of Butler and DePaul as well. Take what you want. The SEC didn't partner with the Big 12. They said, Texas, Oklahoma, hop to it, let's roll. Under the dark of night, right? All of these decisions made before they know what's happening. The Big 10 didn't create a mega conference with the Pac-12. They killed the Pac-12 by saying Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, get with us or get lost. Be ruthless. And by the way, this isn't for everybody. Right? I like to yell and scream about what they should do. I'm not sure I'd be able to do it. If I were the ACC commissioner, I'm not sure I could be the guy that signs the death warrant of the Big East. Because I really enjoyed the Big East during my lifetime. Just watch the documentary, and that was even a little before my lifetime.
Big East basketball is still a thing.
Exactly. I don't know if I could be the one to end that. But if the ACC truly wants to get with the SEC and the Big Ten on the upper level, that's the way you have to think. And I'm gonna take it one step further. You have to be so ruthless, right? Don't set your sights on the Big East. Set your sights on the Big 12. I don't want Georgetown. I want Arizona, Kansas, and Baylor. Right? That's how you actually make inroads going after the SEC and the Big Ten. Right? Matter of fact, I want to find out, right, this is, I haven't said this in a while on air, but I am a diehard Survivor fan, the show.
You are?
Yes.
It got mentioned earlier today, actually.
Yeah, I'm a big Survivor fan. The newer seasons, not as much. Way too much luck. Way too many idols. Way too many advantages. I like the old school days when it was truly like a social game.
Okay.
But there was always this saying, looking for cracks. Okay, say there's 10 people in a tribe, right? Survivor tribe. 10 people. 7 of them are in an alliance. 3 of them are not in the alliance. You may say, all right, well, the 3 are just going to get picked off one by one, and then the 7 will figure it out. But there was this saying you have to look for cracks, which means the 3 people that are by themselves have to go find who's the bottom of the 7 and say, listen, you could pick us off one by one, right? And you can make it to the final 7. But as soon as it's just y'all, you know you're at the bottom, so you're going to be out as well. If you come over to us, we can make you the 4th. If I really wanted to be ruthless and I'm the ACC, I'm not talking about Big East. I might talk Big 12, and I might talk, who do you think are the bottom 5 in the SEC? Who do you think are the bottom 5 in the Big 10? And do you think they're really happy just being on the gum stuck to the shoe of Michigan and Ohio State every year? And now they brought in Oregon, and they've brought in – do you really think they're cool with that, or do you think maybe they'd like to be a little bit higher on the pecking order over on our side? Contracts, grant of rights, yes, that's all a thing, and you're going to have to deal with that. Again, I don't know if I could do it. But the ACC needs a ruthless leader. I think Coach K would be a good, and I think Roy Williams would be a good, and I think a lot of former coaches would be good commissioners of college basketball as a whole, looking out for everybody because they care about the game. I think you need Rick Pitino as an ACC commissioner.
Oh, gosh.
You need someone with some recruiting violations in their past. You need someone that asks for forgiveness rather than permission. Coach K would respect the opposing conferences too much to steal their best teams in the dark of night. If you really want to chase down the SEC and the Big Ten, that's what you have to do. Because, making sure you take care of Xavier and Butler as the Big East combines, it's energy that should be better spent elsewhere. But if there is a little bit of applause, it goes to somebody that thinks of basketball, thinks of college sports the way it was when they entered the sport decades and decades and decades ago, at least thinking of something a little innovative and forward-thinking. So shout out to Coach K. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of Coach K, his old program, Duke, taking on Miami. Probably still his current program. It's not really his old.
He's been going a lot more games this season than he did last couple
Still
years.
has an office. He's.
Oh, yeah.
My guess is he's not paying for gear, right? He wants a T-shirt, he gets a T-shirt.
I'm pretty sure he probably has more T-shirts and stuff given
true.
them to him than he probably ever won in his life.
Very true. Duke versus Miami tonight. This game is everything we've been saying about the ACC for Duke times 1,000. Miami is a bad basketball team. They are 4-12 on the year. Do you want to hear the behemoths that their 4 wins have come against?
Who's that?
Kansas, Kentucky. No, I'm kidding. Their 4 wins have come across Fairleigh Dickinson, Binghamton, Coppin State, and Presbyterian. Those are the only 4 teams Miami has beaten this year. They are 4-12 with those wins. Their coach left them in the middle of the season. Jim Larinaga looked around and said, I don't even want to stay for the second half of it. I don't want to stay for conference play with this squad. See ya. This guy that coached at George Mason, guy that he's been a lifer. This team made him quit. I don't know if they made him, but indirectly you could understand that. Duke is playing the best basketball by comparison in the ACC by a wide margin. They are favored by 25 points in this game. It is a conference game. By the way, Miami was in a Final Four not that long ago, and Duke is favored by 25 points. So I asked the same question that I've been asking about Duke every time they play one of these lower bottom third of the ACC teams, which is, what is their win and? Winning this game, that's not enough for Duke. You win this game, everyone that played Miami other than Fairleigh Dickinson, Binghamton, Coppin State, and Presbyterian has gotten the win against Miami. So winning's not enough. What is the win and when the other team is in shambles? Well, there's something outside of your control that can play into it, right? Similar to when they were playing SMU and John Shire didn't make the trip due to sickness, that immediately becomes the win and, right? It's win and not let your coach not being on the sideline throw you off track. Duke, their defensive stopper, one of their transfers that they brought in this offseason, Malik Brown, Shire told the media yesterday that Malik Brown will miss several weeks with a sprained knee. Now, he's 6'9", listed, which is actually one of the taller players for Duke, and I think that's going to play into what their win and could be tonight versus Miami. But first, here's Shire in his own words talking about the Malik Brown injury.
He sprained his knee, and he'll miss an extended period of time here. So he'll miss weeks. Could be longer, but obviously he's going to be out for the next several games minimum.
Minimum. That's a harrowing last word to hit there. So with Malik Brown out, I think that gives them a little bit of spice, right? What does the rotation look like? Who do you maybe put out there that isn't usually combined with someone else? Because that's usually like a Malik Brown minute. I want to see this. I want win and give a decent amount of run to a lineup with Cooper Flagg at the 5.
We saw a little bit of that against Notre Dame, a little bit of it.
And specifically, if I had to choose the other 4, Flagg at the 5, Knipple at the 4, who's listed at 6'7", Isaiah Evans at the 3, Sion James at the 2, Tyrese Proctor at the 1. That is 5 guys, all between the heights of 6'6" and 6'9" on the roster.
Okay.
And they can all shoot the 3.
Play 5 out.
And then run. And then run, and then run, and then run. Cooper Flagg is a good enough rim protector. I don't think you can do this for like 20 minutes, but maybe tonight against Miami you could if you just want to see what it looks like. And then you can disperse it sparsely but effectively in the bigger games later in the year where, it's the when you call a timeout 20 seconds before the 4 minutes, so you have an immediate timeout coming right up next, you do it coming out of the media timeout. Just to throw everybody off, right? All right, here's what they're doing. Or if you ever are inbounding and they see what players go out there for the inbound. You call time. Like whenever you get a chance to kind of spring it on the opponent, you throw this 5 out there. But you don't want to do that in a big game unless you've seen it and you've had reps to work on things and iron out the wrinkles in a game like tonight against Miami. So my thought is, with Malik Brown out, first of all, your defense is going to be tested. He doesn't score a lot. The stat sheet doesn't say that Malik Brown is super effective when you look at the kind of basic stats, but he is often tasked with a pretty high leverage defensive role. So somebody's going to have to step up there. Other than that, be creative with the combinations you put on the floor. Not as in, like, if Malawash is out there, you could go super big as well and switch everything. I just want to see some creativity in the lineups because, A, you should win the game by a bunch, so you have that kind of leverage to experiment. And if you put a lineup out there that very obviously doesn't work and it's out there for 2-3 minutes, it's not going to cost you a game. But also, you might stumble into something where you're like, I never envisioned the roster playing like that, but I'm curious. That piqued my interest, says John Shire on the sideline.
I mean, you do have Patrick Ngagba, who was, I think was a 5-star recruit. I think he was like the 19th or 20th rated prospect.
Banged up in the little injured in the preseason.
Yeah.
So
hey, chance to work him into the lineup too. He's 6'11". Hey, more minutes for you. Get the reps.
He alongside Malawash. Now, like, imagine having that on the floor. Timeouts called. You come out in an all-small lineup. You're going from 6'11", 7'2", leapers, great athletes, and playing above the rim to, here's 5 shooters. Like that's the type of versatility that gives a coach every kind of option, and there's no reason Duke shouldn't at least experiment with it. So today, with it being Miami, with it being a team that is not very good, with it being a team that is dead last in the ACC rankings, the win and experiment. Win and see if there's a combination out there that you hadn't thought of yet that's just so crazy it might work. If you went, I think it's Gumba or Mgumba, alongside Malawash, alongside Flag, alongside Knipple, and like probably Proctor there is listed at 6'6", or James there is listed at 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
You're 7'2", 6'11", 6'9", 6'7", 6'6".
That's an NBA lineup.
And that's a big NBA lineup.
That's a big NBA lineup.
There's things to experiment with that roster. Malik Brown at 6'9" and a defensive stopper could fit in there or not when he comes back, depending on what you're trying to do with each lineup. So that's my win and for Duke tonight. I expect him to win by a bunch. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4 coming up next. Do you remember, it wasn't that long ago, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Okay.
There were a lot of jokes on the internet about Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold being on the Panthers 2 years ago.
A lot of those pictures were floating around.
Yeah, exactly. I can see the picture in my mind's eye right now of in their Panther uniform standing next to each other, and the caption just says, this was only 2 years ago, and it was making fun of the Panthers. I want to revisit those jokes when we come back right here on 99.9 The Fan. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Green Bay Packers simply couldn't beat the elite talent in the NFC. They were winless against the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and now the Eagles. Lost 2 games to both of those teams. They were good. They were not good enough. That, to me, is the story of the Green Bay Packers this season. So it was a good season, not a great one.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's hockey season, baby. I live and work on both coasts, and here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
It's 2025, and it's time to get your home zero-resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms zero-resified starting at just $109 and take $100 off your air duct cleaning as well. Book online anytime at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A fairly mild day today. Temperatures in the upper 40s. Lots of sunshine makes it feel a bit more comfortable, but feeling much colder tonight. We drop to 22 degrees. We'll have a wind chill in the teens. Skies are clear, and tomorrow is sunny, but it's also chilly with a high of just 40 degrees.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 190 points to 42,487.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Wasn't that long ago, everyone was making fun of the Panthers for letting Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield slip through their fingers. Because Sam Darnold had the Vikings all the way at the top of the standings in the NFC, and Baker Mayfield was lighting it up. I think he's tied for the second or third most total touchdowns in the NFL, passing plus rushing. And everybody was making fun. Let's revisit those jokes today, because obviously Sam Darnold had a rough night last night. Some would say he finally turned back into the pumpkin that many were expecting him to do much earlier in the season. At times it was hard to watch. He wouldn't cut it loose. Kind of had some Bryce Young early in the season moments where open receiver, but he was so hesitant to throw it that he ended up taking the sack. And Baker Mayfield got outdueled by a rookie. Jaden Daniels ends up getting the win. So both Darnold and Baker make the postseason, and both Darnold and Baker don't make it out of the first weekend. The Panthers didn't miss out on MVP candidates here. They missed out on good, solid, but not over-the-top, top-tier quarterbacks, right? Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are good. You have to hope that Bryce Young is significantly better than even what what Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield showed this year. And this has been the high water mark for both of them. This is it may sound crazy, but if your goal is to win a Super Bowl, which every team in the NFL's goal should be, I would be very frustrated if there was an owner out there like, I don't know, put fans in the seats. If we make the playoffs every couple of years, I'm good. Like, your goal should be a Super Bowl. If your goal is a Super Bowl, you have to hope Bryce Young is a Hall of Famer. And that's not me talking, that's history talking. This is one of my favorite stats, and it may be ruined a bit by Matt Stafford. Do you have Matt Stafford as a Hall of Famer?
No.
No? Close?
Yeah.
Okay. Since Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl with the Bucs in the 2002 NFL season, so that's the John Gruden, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks year, way back in 2002, only on non-rookie contracts, only obvious Hall of Famers and Matt Stafford have won a title. So whatever, I think Matt Stafford will probably get in, and I think he's going to play long enough to be you're going to look at his he's going to finish in the top 10 in most passing stats. He's going to have the Super Bowl, may have another. He's still in it this year. But here are the quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl since 2002, not on a rookie contract. Mahomes, Stafford, Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Breeze, Roethlisberger. That's it. That's a lot of first ballot Hall of Famers there, and Matt Stafford. That's what you're looking at, and Matt Stafford might end up being one. So the only way history will tell you that you win a Super Bowl not on a rookie contract is with a first ballot Hall of Famer or Matt Stafford. So you don't win them with Sam Darnold making a bunch of money. You don't win them with Baker Mayfield on a $100 million contract. You might get a lot better. He might put it in position so the next guy can win because you built a winning culture. It's tough. The other three that have won Super Bowls, by the way, Nick Foles / Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was on a rookie contract, so that's why he had money to go have a really, really good supporting cast. Nick Foles, backup quarterback, power to you. Russell Wilson on a rookie contract. That's why you're good enough to have the Legion of Boom, had all the money to spend. And Joe Flacco on a rookie contract, and he cashed in the next offseason, and they never won again. It seems dumb, but Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield kind of prove that you have to hope Bryce Young is a Hall of Famer if the Panthers want to win a Super Bowl. Or the other option would be to win it in the next 2 years, which
I feel great about playing football right now.
I think the arrow is pointed up for the Panthers. I don't know if it's pointed up at a steep enough angle for them to win a Super Bowl while Bryce Young is still on a rookie contract.
Yeah, that's going from 6 to midnight right there.
That is straight up. Look at the quarterbacks that are left, right? Mahomes is left. Josh Allen, probably a Hall of Famer, especially if he wins a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson, already a Hall of Famer. Matt Stafford, talked about it. And Stroud, rookie contract. Daniels, rookie contract. Goff and Hurts are really the only ones that could ruin my stat. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield are good, and I know they're beloved in Tampa. And Sam Darnold I think he's gonna end up starting somewhere next year. If it's not Minnesota, someone's gonna give him a shot because there's just not 10 quarterbacks on the planet each year that I believe make it a team, make it so you can win a Super Bowl because of them. And the other 22 teams still need quarterbacks. So Sam Darnold's gonna end up somewhere.
Yeah, the demand for QBs is greater than the supply. He's going to be starting somewhere next year.
And he won 14 games this year, and it wasn't a complete accident. He wasn't getting lucky. It wasn't going through the defender's hands off their helmet and bouncing into Justin Jefferson's arms. He showed something this year. I think he's going to be a starter. Baker Mayfield will be starting for Tampa because he had a great season this year. History will tell you it is extremely unlikely they will achieve the ultimate goal. Now, history will also tell you it's extremely unlikely that Bryce Young becomes a Hall of Famer and becomes one of those guys that the Panthers could win it with. Heck, somebody like Cam Newton couldn't even get it done. And he was a much more obvious, whoa, this guy's got something special player by this point in his career. But don't worry about passing on doubles at the quarterback position. Right? Hey, we got a guy who's pretty good. pretty good for $50 million makes it near impossible to win a Super Bowl. Pretty good, and 3 years, $140 million makes it near impossible to achieve your ultimate goal. Now, really unbelievably good, right? The Mahomes, the Allens, the Jacksons, Matt Stafford, the really, really goods. Yeah, you can pay them and still win. They're worth it. They can make up what happens on the rest of your roster, what you sacrifice from paying them all that money. But it's not. And by the way, I said it when it happened, right? When all of the Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield used to be Panther jokes happened, I right in that moment I said these jokes aren't doing the damage that you think it is. Right? The Panthers, even though it's a previous regime, should not be embarrassed by the decision to let those two guys walk. They weren't going to turn around a franchise. And oh, by the way, we didn't even mention that part. We didn't even mention that part, which is the level of quarterback it takes to turn around a dungeon franchise, a basement franchise. Somebody like Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield might be able to walk into teams that already turned it around and keep the engine cranking, right? Kirk Cousins did a lot of the work with Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell to bring about a franchise that had a good culture. Tom Brady did the same with Tampa. Now Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold can slide on over into the driver's seat and keep it on the road, but it is a completely different beast to be the one that turns everything around. I'm not sure that's Bryce either, but better chance there's still at least the unknown. There's still at least the possibility of. Sometimes I think, and this is where we get into like football theory, right? This is where it's more essay question, not math question, right? You got to explain your answer, and you judge the logic. A lot of times I think fans think the percentages are so much higher than they should be. You draft a quarterback, it's like, well, it should be like a 70% chance. No, I think most are 10. This is a 10% chance this is going to work out for you. You draft a quarterback, it's like a 10% chance he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And I don't know if that's I don't have all the numbers in front of me. And by the way, that's high. Most quarterbacks you draft, it's like less than 1. Right? When you throw Russell Wilson in our face, and he was a 3rd-round pick, Tom Brady, and he was a 6th-round pick, I'm going, the percentages of that are so microscopic. Sure, it can happen, right? You can win the lottery too. It doesn't make it likely. Somebody like Bryce Young, I'm sitting here saying it's unlikely he's going to be a Hall of Famer, which means it's unlikely he's going to be good enough to win you a Super Bowl while getting paid $50, $60 million a year, which is the going rate for a starting quarterback in the league. It's unlikely. But unlikely, I think that's everybody. I don't know if there's a quarterback drafted in the history of the world that I would say had a better than like 20% chance of being a Hall of Famer. Sometimes it seems like it in retrospect, like John Elway, and you're like, you could throw it 100 miles an hour. The Yankees wanted him. Yeah, a lot of ways that could have gone poorly. And he knew it too. That's why he didn't want to play for the Colts. Andrew Luck, he was perfect. Yeah, well, the injuries did him in. There's always something. There's always an obstacle. Darnold and Baker were never going to be that dude with the Carolina Panthers. And there might not be a great chance that it's a Bryce Young situation where he can be that dude, but it's better than either of those guys. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The action is heating up this playoff season at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Lock in your touchdown picks, check out trending parlays, and increase your winnings with Profit Boost. New customers can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win, and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RADIO to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a ladder challenge coming up. I'm still on a heater. Dennis, are you? All right, we try to keep the train rolling next.
Move your sports day forward.
For as much as we've lamented the fact that it's like every time you turn a Duke game on or you hear people talk about Duke, whenever it happens to happen, we do talk about the Blue Devils because we're a local show. We talk about State and Carolina. But when you talk about Duke, you have to talk about Cooper Flag first. It pretty much has to be the first thing out of your mouth.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back 60 years, when a diamond cutter became well known for his exceptional craftsmanship. His diamond cutting business flourished for decades. Then his sons got involved and started selling these exceptional diamonds to upscale jewelry stores here in America. After a few years, these wholesalers decided to change the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices they had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success, and Diamonds Direct was born. Today, Diamonds Direct provides that extraordinary value to people all over America, offered at the guaranteed best prices, period. Diamonds Direct, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history, rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics, and proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
For new carpet, the Home Depot is your destination. With a large assortment of affordable carpeting in the brands, styles, and colors you need. And for new carpet savings, the Home Depot also has you covered. With 10% off all special order carpeting right now. Enjoy long-lasting comfort at a great price and free installation. Offer valid January 9th through January 26th, 2025. Receive 10% off special order carpet and installation. Installation included in select markets with qualifying purchase. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Not a question for me. I mean, I'm glad to see him out there, and hopefully he's getting game ready. I think that was more one of his first full practices where we didn't have 3 guys out there, so I think that's encouraging.
That's what it sounded like when Rod Brindamore talked to the media about Freddie Anderson. veteran goalie who's been out for a while, dealing with some knee troubles, but has been on the practice ice a few times in recent weeks. That I'm told is a bit of a illusion. It's a bit of a Easter egg, I guess would be the way. To the Copper Drop topics we'll be getting to in a little bit. I am unaware of those topics ahead of the game being started. So Copper Drop will involve a little bit of Canes talk coming up. But before we get to that, we need to hit the ladder challenge. Dennis and I compete every month. The game is simple. Start the month with $10. You place a likely to win bet, something between -500 and -1,000. And if you win, you take the full payout, the stake plus the winnings, roll it over to another likely to win bet the next show, the next show, the next show. You keep winning. It keeps building. The beauty of compound interest allows it to keep growing. And whoever has the most money at the end of the month wins. If you get it wrong at any point along the way, you go back to start. No checkpoints. You start at $10 all over again. I did win last night, but I believe you're still in first, Dennis, so you get to lead off.
I did win last night. I had the Florida Panthers plus 2.5 goals taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Well, they lost 4-3, so that plus 2.5 came in quite in handy. So my winnings, my total is up now to $22.40. I'm taking that money and putting it on the Vegas Golden Knights plus 2.5 against the Nashville Predators at -700. So give me the Vegas Golden Knights, one of the best teams in the league, to get 2.5 goals on the road against one of the worst teams in the league in the Nashville Predators. I take it. Even though Nashville is playing better, I'm still going to take Vegas.
Any worries that it's I feel like, again, and I have a bad relationship with hockey bets, particularly in this ladder challenge. Any worry that, I don't know, it seems like you're always tempting fate with hockey because you might get a couple empty netters or something off a skate. It's sometimes you get got in hockey.
This is why I like plus 2.5 in hockey, is because if you're trailing by 1 and the other team gets the empty netter, I still got that half. I still got that hook.
A hook. All right, that's fair.
That's why plus 2.5 is key. And again, Nashville kind of stinks. Vegas is pretty darn good.
I have one that's similarly simple for my pick tonight. But to recap last night, I had Justin Jefferson 50-plus receiving yards versus the Rams. That hit. He only had 58, which you might be like, oh, you sweated it out. But actually, he got to 58 very early. And then the Minnesota offense just decided to completely stop working. So it wasn't necessarily a sweat, but I did think I was going to be like, oh, tomorrow on the show, I'm going to be able to say he had 120 yards, and I only needed him to get 50. And then at the end of the game, he had 58. I was like, oh, well, it wasn't on pace for what I thought he was on pace for. But that does up my winnings to $15.70. Tonight, what would you say your logic was? There was one good team and one team that's not so good.
Yeah.
So you felt comfortable. I'm taking Duke over Miami.
Oh, well, there you go. Lock it in.
-12.5.
Oh, okay.
So I am cutting the spread in half. It goes from the Duke favored by 25. I am teasing it all the way down to Duke favored by 12.5. That makes it a -580 bet. With the basic logic being Miami stinks. And Duke does seem to put the pedal to the floor all the way to the end of games, and they just had their closest game in a while against Notre Dame. They won by, I think it was 8. So they're going to come out a little bloodthirsty for a bigger win against Miami. And if and or when it hits, my total will be up to $18.41. I did lose not that long ago, so I'm still on the comeback trail. But $18.41 tomorrow after Duke wins by at least 2 touchdowns against Miami. Talking basketball. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tune in tomorrow to continue tracking the bets. Tail them if you see fit. Now, we had the Easter egg saying that there's going to be some Canes talk. I don't know what order. I don't know what the question is, but I do know it's time for Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
All right, starting things off with Cop or Drop. I teased it a little bit regarding Frederick Anderson. Carolina Hurricanes goalies going into the postseason will be Pyotr Kochetkov and Frederick Anderson. Cop or Drop.
Did the order you said them in matter at all?
No.
Then I'm buying. I'm copping. I think it's, and I've had to explain this a bunch of times. I think the Canes are just patient. I think they're more of a trust our offseason plan and let it rock, and it'll happen. Just give it time. Just give it time. We're patient. We're patient. One might even say occasionally the front office style of the Canes flirts with stubborn, right? Because there's a fine line between patient, convicted, and stubborn. So I think Freddie coming back, and the other thing it does is Freddie's injuries, and this has happened now 2 years in a row. It does give you something to point to and say, well, once he gets back, it'll all be solved, right? It's if Freddie were playing and he didn't have these long midseason absences, and still they were having, whatever bumps in the road they were having, you would go, all right, we got to fix this. But with Freddie out and you have the bumps in the road, it's very easy to just go, well, once Freddie gets back, everything will be smooth again. Well, we just need Freddie to get back. We just need Freddie to get back. So it almost gives you a reason. So I think this postseason they'll roll with Kochetkov and Freddie. I do think Freddie will be the first goalie out there each series, and then hopefully they mix in Kochetkov more often than they did last postseason.
Okay, I'm going to give you a question regarding the NFL playoffs. I know you're going to geek out over this one.
You're darn right.
Early projection here. The winner of the Ravens-Bills game wins the Super Bowl. Cop or drop?
I have to drop. I explained this logic earlier. First of all, I'm looking forward to the Bills-Ravens game. Maybe
it's gonna be fun.
Maybe as much as any NFL game that I have I'm not a fan of either team. I don't play fantasy in the playoffs, so my fantasy team won't benefit. I'm rooting for a few guys to stay healthy for fantasy purposes. But other than that, I really have no horse in the race at all. But I'm looking forward to it just because there's two guys out there that are playing the position as well as we've seen in the last handful of years. And they both have a lot on the line. I'm talking Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And then in addition to that, James Cook, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the league. Dude had 18 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, definitely not underrated, but he's good. Kyle Hamilton's a stud. The offensive line for Buffalo is really exciting to watch. There's so much exciting in that game. So I'm very much looking forward to that game, despite the fact that I don't have a rooting interest in it, which is awesome. The issue I have with your statement is there's a very good chance the winner will then go to Arrowhead to play against the Kansas City Chiefs and a gentleman by the name of Patrick Mahomes. And I said it earlier, right? A lot of times when it comes to picks, when it comes to gambling, I try to think of, if I get it wrong, which one will I be more acceptable? Which one will I let myself off the hook for more? So if you tell me, hey, who's going to win the Super Bowl, and I pick Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs don't win it, I can live with that. I'm I picked the all-time great, the two-time MVP, three-time Super Bowl champion, two-time defending Super Bowl champion with a Hall of Famer at tight end, with a Hall of Famer calling the plays, with a great defense run by one of the best coordinators in history, with one of the best defensive linemen in the league there. There's so much going for it. What is it with Tooney, the Wolfpack center up there making it happen, bunch of times Super Bowl champion.
Oh yeah, Joe Tooney plays for the Chiefs now.
Chiefs now is on the Patriots, won Super Bowls. He's been on the Chiefs, he's won Super Bowls.
I think he's won 4 in his career.
I can be okay being wrong with that. But if you pick Lamar or Josh Allen to beat Patrick Mahomes and it doesn't happen, you pick the thing that never happens to happen. You pick Lamar to outperform not just Josh Allen, because in this hypothetical, he would have beaten Josh Allen. Not only to beat Josh Allen, but also to beat Patrick Mahomes. And Josh Allen, he's done everything except what? Beat the Chiefs in the postseason. I just can't get around picking that. I might root for it, right? Because sometimes you do want to see some other guys get their due, and I think they're sometimes looked at in a more negative light than they should be because they haven't had the postseason success. But, I'm not going to pick it, so I got to drop it.
Okay. Should be a fun game, though.
Mm-hmm.
Might be the best game of the postseason, to be honest. All right, cop or drop. We had a conversation about Bryce Young just a moment ago. Cop or drop. 1 year from today, or 1 year from now, so going into 2026 offseason, Bryce Young gets a big-time contract from the Carolina Panthers. Cop or drop.
So at any point in time in next offseason. Doesn't have to be
So after his third year, when he's eligible to get a contract extension.
I'm dropping.
Really?
I'm dropping. I think really good case scenario, they pick up his 5th-year option. I don't see them rushing to pay because, first of all, the market doesn't come down for quarterbacks. There's talks about Brock Purdy, $60 million. Even if it's 55, right? That's really, really, really tough. So I just don't see them being ready to do that yet. Also, I don't see next year being just all, warm chocolate chip cookies and celebrating wins for Bryce Young. I still think he's going to have games where he struggles. I still think he's going to have growing pains. I don't see it being all straight up. Even if at the end we look at the season as a whole and go, all right, that was, the net positive was there. I don't think it's going to be just all awesome. I don't see him in the MVP race next year. So probably not is my answer. If it were on a spectrum, is like I'm 60% sure it won't be happening, but in Copper Drop there is no gray area. It's yes or no, so I'm dropping it.
But you mentioned how the price tag is just going to go up. Mm-hmm. Do you think they still try and just go ahead and get ahead of that price tag? Because if he has a really good year in 2025 and he backs it up with a great year in 2026, that number's only going to go even higher.
There is logic to, as soon as he's your guy, don't wait. Mm-hmm. But there also is logic to, if you're not sure he's your guy, don't rush. And also, I'm fascinated by how fans and other media members and everybody are categorizing Bryce Young's 2024 season. Like, till about week 10 or 11, bad season. And then he saved it in the kind of second half in a couple games past. It's like, I don't know if it's a really good followed up by a great. It might be like you showed some signs followed up by a really good, if he is really good next year. So I'm not as far along, and you have 2 years of control after that, right? If you pick up the 5th-year option, you have 2 years of control after that to still wait and see. So I don't know if there's $60 million a year in his future starting next offseason, because that's tough.
It's going to be an interesting season. This is a pivotal year, I think, not only for Bryce, but for the franchise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
pivotal year.
Pivotal year. I could name 10 coaches and players that it's pivotal for.
Yeah, but specifically for Bryce and this franchise, it's a pivotal year. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers in this offseason, cop or drop, the Carolina Panthers trade out of that 8th overall pick. Either up or down. They trade the pick, cop or drop.
Interesting. I think I'm dropping. I think they're going to stick and pick. I think there's actually, and I haven't done, this is where you got to be upfront, right? Don't act like you know everything. I haven't done all of my draft prep yet, but I think there might be some kind of a tier after the top 10 or 11 picks. So there's not a lot of wiggle room there to go down and still get somebody in that top tier. But also there's not a lot of motivation to go up, because there's that, unless you're ending up maybe top 4, there's probably a tier in the top 4, and that's assuming that at least 2 quarterbacks go in the top 3. So I think Abdul Carter and I think Travis Hunter are kind of in a league of their own as far as overall prospects, and then 2 quarterbacks go. So there's the top 4. Then I think there's 5, 6, 7 guys that look like they're going to be kind of in that same tier. So I don't see a reason to move up unless you're going up to the top 4, which would be expensive. And I don't see a lot of wiggle room to go down and still get the type of impact player. So as it stands right now, with I am asking for leniency on my ability to change that in the future as I dive in more, I will say I am going to drop them moving up or down in the draft, simply because I think they're in a good spot in the draft this year.
Okay, let's go to a little ACC basketball, Tim.
Love it.
Cop or drop. The ACC gets 4 or less teams in the NCAA tournament. Cop or drop. 4 or less.
I don't. You're going to hear sadness in my voice. Cop. I mean, 4 to me, I hate to say this. I don't know where you find 4.
That might be the ceiling.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Duke is in. I think right now Louisville is I wouldn't expect it, but they're kind of like we're almost very dependent on Louisville here in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Let's go, Pat Kelsey.
Like
there's a reason why we talked to him.
You and your merry band of misfits left your water bottle on our table.
He did actually,
and it had his initials written on it in Sharpie. Pat Kelsey and Louisville might have to get in, and then 2 out of Clemson, Pitt, and Wake.
Yeah, Clemson, Pitt, Wake, UNC.
Well, the way UNC's turning it around, so there's possibilities there, but they got to go on a little bit of a rampage here. They're behind the 8 ball, but I very much believe they have the talent to make it. It's just overcoming some of their non-conference woes that'll be tough. And you know what? There's always the possibility of an unexpected ACC champion like last year, kind of bracket busting and stealing a bid. So that's always possible there as well. 5 is probably my ceiling, so 4 or less is kind of the majority of the outcomes.
Okay, speaking of UNC, cop or drop. They make the NCAA tournament this year. Cop or drop. I'm putting you on the spot. Yes or no?
I said no last time, and I don't know if they've done enough with a close win over State to change my mind here. I think I have to go drop. But do you know what actually becomes really, really fascinating? I kind of put them in the Joe Burrow's Bengals category.
Okay.
Where, like, halfway through the season, you look at the math, and you go, like, I don't know, you guys got to win like 7 out of 8 minimum, and you need a little bit of help elsewhere. And then you just watch Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow do absolutely everything they possibly could down the stretch. I think they won their last 5 or somewhere along those lines. Just a warpath of talent to keep their small percentage of the postseason alive. I think it's going to be really fun to watch UNC in that mode, right? Like, treat every game like a playoff game, right? You win or your chances significantly decrease in every game from this point forward. So, Ian Jackson and RJ Davis, go be Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? Break records, put up ridiculous stats, score a ton of points, win the eye test every single game if you can, right? Go in with that kind of attitude. So I think it'll be really, really, really fun to watch them try. But if you make me put like it's either this or that, I think I'm 51% they don't make it.
By the way, looking at net rankings through yesterday.
Okay.
Net rankings through yesterday. Duke is number 2 in net rankings. I'm looking at here on NCAA.com.
Impressive with their conference schedule.
Number 2 in net rankings. Next ACC team is Pitt at 27, followed by Louisville at 33. Carolina at 35, then right after them is Clemson at 37. Then you actually go down to SMU at 46. So the ACC has 6 teams in the top 50 of the net. They have a win over SMU, which is a good one. They still have games against Pitt on the road and at home, but the Pitt one on the road is going to be big. Same thing with Duke on the road, Clemson that we just mentioned as well. Obviously Duke twice. So there are still a lot of games where they can still make up a lot of ground, I guess you can say, for lack of a better term, in terms of quad 1 wins and all that jazz. But they got to win them though.
The hard part for the ACC is all of those teams that you mentioned in that kind of 27 to 37, whatever that was in the net rankings, need big wins to rise up those rankings.
Yeah.
And the only big wins available left on their schedule are each other. So say UNC goes on that run that we're talking about and they win an overwhelming majority of their games, nearly all of their games down the stretch. That's good for UNC, but also that means the other teams in the ACC that need big wins aren't getting that win over UNC. So it's kind of addition by, robbing from your right pocket to pay your left pocket. It's going to be tough for the ACC to get a bunch of teams in because they all need to be the trophy fish for each other.
Saving grace right now, I think, for North Carolina, UCLA is 38th in the net rankings. They were 32 previously. They dropped down to 38th after a couple of losses recently, but that helps them a bunch. Then obviously having played schools like Kansas and Kentucky, which Kansas is 8th, Kentucky's at 13th right now. Having played Michigan State, which is at 15. So, I mean, their strength of schedule helps them in this case as well.
I do hate that but I don't have a better answer for it. So I'm venting, problems guy, no solutions guy. I hate that as soon as you beat a team, you have to become their biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
Because you need that win to be more impressive. So as soon as UNC beat UCLA, you become like, come on, you're watching games like Wayne needs you, Papa needs a new pair of shoes, and then you're rolling the dice with Louisville. It feels weird to me that you have to start rooting for your opponents like that.
All right, final one here for you.
Let's do it.
Tim, cop or drop? We know I'm going to go NFL draft, and you're a quarterback, former quarterback. You're going to nerd out over this question.
You're darn right.
Cop or drop as the music comes down. I'm going to bring it back up.
Hey.
We know Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, top 2 quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. Cop or drop, a third QB is drafted in the first round. Cop or drop?
All right, well, this. You wanted nerding out, you're going to get nerding out.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a few different quarterbacks that have been the soup du jour. If you remember Garrett Nussmeier, LSU. Oh, he's going to be a top 5 pick, and then he had a bad game, and then another iffy game, and all of a sudden now he's going back to LSU. Drew Aller, right? He had the solid start to the CFP at Penn State, and everyone, if he plays well in the rest of the CFP, how could he turn down being a top 5 pick? Then he had a fairly horrendous game, and he's going back to Penn State. Right now, the quarterback of the moment that's getting positive press, if you look in draft circles, is Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Duke in the bowl game got an up-close and personal look about what Jackson Dart looks like when he's clicking, right? When things are going well. He threw for like 400 yards and 1 billion touchdowns. This is unfair to the player. I'm leery of Lane Kiffin quarterbacks because Lane Kiffin does make it so simple and schemes guys open. And, I did play the quarterback position. I was not ever an NFL prospect of any kind of significance. But if you tell me, hey, here's your first read, take a 5-step drop, and if your first read is there, throw it. And most often I drop back and my first read is open. I can do that. I might be able to do that now, right? It's the when things break down and the improv and everything else that becomes more difficult. And Jackson Dart has a little bit of that. He's more mobile than you'd think. But at the same time, first reads open a whole bunch in that offense. So long story short, no, I think it's 2. I'm dropping.
Okay.
I'm dropping. I think Shedeur does. We'll have to see where his dad becomes coach to find out where he's going to be drafted. I think Cam Ward does. I'm seeing some people compare him to like a right-handed Michael Penix Jr. I think he's more improv-oriented than that. Michael Penix Jr. During his time at Washington was very like get through the reads, make the progressions, get the ball out. But natural thrower and all that, I see it. Throws a beautiful pass. I don't know who else would make it. Jalen Milroe? Actually, that might be the best answer there.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Milroe, the Alabama quarterback who has declared for the draft, is an athletic freak in the nicest way possible. His GPS times, like the on-field, what's your fastest mile per hour, are crazy. He's in like the top 15 of players, according to Real Analytics. That's like defensive backs trying to chase down a running back didn't reach as fast as Jalen Milroe did with the ball in his hands in darn near every case. So he might be one that, he's probably pretty upset at Anthony Richardson because that's not working out very well for Indy. And if it did work out, then I think Jalen Milroe would be a top 5 pick because everyone would be looking for that. So he might be the best option. I don't know if he squeaks into the first, though. So I'm saying no. I'm sticking to my guns. With the caveat that all of my draft opinions will likely change as I do more draft prep heading into April. And I have to say that or else I'd go crazy because then I'd have nothing to do between now and April. Like, if my opinions weren't going to change on the draft, what would I spend my time on? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. And let's be real, everybody. Timing is everything, right? Sometimes you move or you refinance or you buy another property, whatever it is, because interest rates are low and you want to take advantage of it. Sometimes the reverse happens. Rates are high, but you have to move, right? You need more space. You need to be closer to a family member. You get a new job. Whatever it is, you need to buy a house. So regardless of what the rates are, you're in the market for a mortgage. Miller Lending wants to help you out if you are in the market for a mortgage right now. They'll hook you up with the best rate they possibly can, but if you get a no closing cost loan, they'll also set you up for if rates drop in the future. right? Everybody knows if you lock in a high rate, the goal is to not have that be your high rate for 30-plus years, right? You want rates to drop. You want to refinance. With a no closing cost loan, you don't feel like you have to hold that rate for a certain amount of time in order to, essentially make your money back off the closing cost. With a no closing cost loan, if the rates drop tomorrow, get a new deal, right? Get a new rate. If they drop again 2 days later, if they drop again 2 years later, keep doing it because there's no money out of your pocket each time you do it. Give them a call at 919-447-3377 if you're in the market for a mortgage, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. What do you think the going rate is? Speaking of rates, what do you think the going rate is for a starting quarterback in the ACC? We know have 2 different instances where the reports are $4 million a year. What does that do for the landscape of the ACC? Next.
All playoff roads lead to New Orleans.
Playoff football, baby.
The Wild Cards, the championship games, presented by First Horizon Bank and Wake Med, will be heard here.
Curtis Samuel 30, banging inside of the 20, 15, 10, slips out of the tackle, touchdown Buffalo! 55 yards! Hot dog, man!
The Triangle's home for Super Bowl 59. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Now at Staples. Find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in-store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with home and office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Can your heating and air system handle the winter chill? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. And right now, Zero Res has the biggest sale ever going on in celebration of the new year. Make sure you get all that 2024 dirt behind and look ahead to 2025. That's right, out the door 2024. We're feeling fresh, clean, and zero resified in 2025. Right now, the best part is it's all gone from 2024. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery. Basically every surface in your house can be zero resified and leave that dirt behind. The offer right now, 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at just $109 and take an additional $100 off your air ducts cleaning. The offer is valid through January 31st, so be sure to get on it now. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000 and ask for the 99.9 The Fan Station Special. Spell it forward or backward, it spells the same, Zero Res. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The going rate for a starting quarterback in the NFL, sorry, well, kind of. The going rate for a starting quarterback in the ACC out of the transfer portal will make old school fans' stomachs turn. If you think that college sports are best when the players are out there just fighting for their alma mater and laying it all on the line for the student body's respect, you might want to cover your ears. The Fox Sports affiliate down in Miami, reports that Miami's contract with Carson Beck, the former Georgia quarterback that declared for the draft and then withdrew his name to head to Miami, the Fox affiliate is reporting that it is a 1-year, $4 million deal for a college quarterback. Now, the interesting part is I've been clamoring for numbers for a very long time. I've wanted to know, how much are these guys actually making? We hear these rumors. And one report, all right, well, I need to know the deal. Is this a deal for the next 10 years? Do they have to, we're giving you $4 million, but $2 million of it comes in the form of like car leases?
Yeah.
Like what
is that, like total value of your package?
You get advertisements on Miami football broadcasts, and you have to go sell them. But you're getting the value. Like, what is real? $4 million seems to be a number that's popping up a bunch. CBS Sports reported earlier this offseason that the Tulane transfer quarterback Darian Mensah, that is signed with Duke, got a 2-year, $8 million deal, comes out to $4 million a year. This $4 million thing has popped up a few times. $4 million per year seems to be the going rate for an ACC starting quarterback out of the transfer portal.
Scrooge McDucks over here.
It's a lot of money. And I was just telling Dennis, it's becoming bigger business. Michelle Cadeau on Twitter, who is I believe, it's not a verified account, but it is followed by many reputable. Her account is followed by many reputable sports journalists that cover college basketball. Michelle Cadeau, I believe, is Elliot Cadeau, the starting point guard for UNC's mother. Michelle tweeted out yesterday, Elliot has had his own company since 2022. He employs 3 people already. He is building his business while in college and will never have to apply for a 9-to-5. These players are making the type of money that allows them to become businesses in and of themselves. $4 million for a starting ACC quarterback. $4 million. This is crazy. Do you know what the craziest part of the Carson Beck part of this going to Miami is? I think he's the first guy that was going to the NFL and he returned because he could make more money. I think there's a lot of guys out there that want to return to college and the money made it plausible, right? It's really hard to pass up like 3rd-round NFL draft pick money if the alternative is, well, we'll pay for your books, but it's much easier to turn down 3rd-round NFL draft pick money if the alternative is you're getting $600,000, right? And if you need to get your family out of a tough situation, or if you need to pay for a car or whatever, or start a business, you have the cash. Carson Beck, I believe, was going to the NFL. He's at Georgia, gets hurt, misses the CFP. I think he was going to the NFL, but then Miami called and said $4 million, and he went, that's more than I believe I'll get in the NFL. Will Levis was the first pick of the 2nd round a couple drafts ago. His average annual value on his contract is $2.4 million. 2.4. The report is Carson Beck's getting 4. That's a lot of money more. Even somebody like Michael Penix, who was a top half of the 1st-round draft pick, he's getting an average annual value of 5.7, which obviously is more than Carson Beck. But guess what? That isn't. It's not a guarantee that Carson Beck would be a top half of the 1st-round pick. The $4 million is cash in pocket. I believe he went back for the money. That's crazy. But it also means the ACC is spending enough money that a Georgia quarterback is going back to college for ACC money. Darian Mensah out of Tulane. I mean, Tulane down there in Louisiana, there's SEC schools all over that place, right? All over that part of the country. He's coming to Duke and getting 2 years, $8 million, according to CBS Sports. Does this mean the ACC is the big chip stacks at the table when it comes to paying players?
Let's go.
I don't know if it does.
Okay. But it does go to show you can earn money here.
Yes.
And still play.
The question for me becomes, will you be able to do that for a bunch of players? Or are you looking at a quarterback and saying, we're going to spend a ton on a quarterback, and that guy is going to have to make up for the fact that we can't pay SEC prices for offensive, defensive linemen and linebackers and receivers and tight ends, but we got $4 million for the quarterback. Because that, like, if I were a team and say I had a $10 million salary pool, I'm just using round numbers, and I knew someone else had 50, I'm going, you know what? I'm not going to be able to have the depth they're going to have. My roster top to bottom won't be as good as theirs. But if I can pick one position that I think might be able to drag my team and our low salary to the promised land, I'm picking a quarterback. Right? I'm trying to do whatever it takes to get the superstar quarterback who can then make my $500,000 a year scrub wide receivers work, which just saying it out loud seems ridiculous. I don't know. I only got $1.5 million for my running back room. I'm going to need the quarterback to do a lot to make that work. It sounds ridiculous, but it might be the way it is. Because there's 0% chance the top ACC schools are in like the poorhouse. I don't know if they're in the penthouse, but there's 0% chance they're in the poorhouse. So they become Moneyball, right? You have to like if you can't afford to pay with Texas, and like imagine how much like an Arch Manning is getting, and he didn't even play this year. Like if you can't afford to pay that to your backup, you better pick the right starting quarterback. And the same has been true for a while. Clemson just saw this. Pete Thamel tweeted it out that Clemson has finalized a deal with Penn State's defensive coordinator Tom Allen on a 3-year deal. So he leaves Penn State. Penn State was just in the semifinals of the CFP to become Clemson's defensive coordinator. The deal reportedly starts at $1.9 million per year. USA Today had only 9 assistants in college football making more than $1.9 million per year last year. And Thamel's wording is important there. Starts at $1.9 million. Years 2 and 3, probably more, or there's a heavy incentive package or something along those lines. This is what I'm talking about. Penn State, Drew Aller's coming back. If you're unfamiliar with some of these names, just know that they are NFL players. Drew Aller, their quarterback's coming back. Both of their running backs are coming back, who could have been Nick Singleton, maybe a second-round pick, Kaytron Allen, a third or fourth. Danny Dennis Sutton, who's an edge rusher that was a second-round pick at the latest. They're all coming back next year. I'm sure that was expensive. And who knows, maybe the money that is going to the players made it so their defensive coordinator now gets to go to Clemson. Clemson better be picking the right spots to spend their cash. The difference between the haves and the have-nots money-wise, I believe, is the ability to make mistakes. It's similar to like baseball, right? The Twins can pay one guy a bunch of money. What they can't afford to do is to pay one guy a bunch of money and have him be like a good player, not a great player. Duke can give your quarterback, apparently according to CBS Sports, $4 million a year. You know what they can't afford to have happen? Pay a guy $4 million a year and then look to the other positions and go, you really got to pick up for him. You got to cover his flaws because he's not doing enough right now. Meanwhile, Texas probably played Quinn Ewers a bunch. If they didn't like the way he was playing, they wouldn't go, everybody's got to pick it up for that guy. They would go, hey, we got Arch Manning right behind him. Penn State with their running backs, right? Nick Singleton. If he wasn't getting it done, all right, we got a 4th-round pick behind him because we can pay him a bunch of money. There's bigger salary pools elsewhere. There's no doubt in my mind. But the ACC has enough to be dangerous. Miami and Duke, again, according to different reports, Fox affiliate in Miami for Carson Beck in Miami, CBS Sports reporting on Darian Mensah and Duke, $4 million a year. If you're paying your quarterback $4 million a year, you're not able to complain about other people having money. That bars you from it. Don't be a 100 millionaire complaining about the billionaires. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up next. We have an exciting weekend set this upcoming weekend in the NFL. After last night's Monday Night Football, it is near completed. Or actually, last night's Monday Night Football, it is completed. The table is set. We'll talk about that. But first, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. Talking about the table being set, talking about awesome NFL games. We're talking about the playoffs, everybody. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is the key to winning in the playoffs. Right? You can't settle for field goals. You need touchdowns. And you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. And you know what's the best part? There's a lot of unusual touchdown scores this playoff so far. What was it? Ty Williams was his name, the guy that caught the one in the back of the end zone from Josh Allen. There's some nobodies scoring, which usually come with great odds, and if you pick that, you win a bunch of money. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. I wouldn't mind picking Lions at this point. Why? Because, heck, even if they're right there in field goal range, you know Dan Campbell's going to go for it on 4th. That means more touchdowns. New DraftKings customers, listen up. Right now, you can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Starting 5 in that awesome divisional round coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
This is Creighton Blackwell from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan, and we're here at South Garner High School to celebrate our next Scholar Athlete of the Month. And that Scholar Athlete is Samayan Jones.
It means a lot to me because my parents, they want me to do well and make it in life, so this is for them. I try to work hard in the classroom and on the court for them and do my best.
He's never trying to bring no negative energy, and I feel like that's what makes him a more productive teammate.
My teammates, they encourage me a lot because, I've been through injuries. They cheer me on because 2 games ago was my first time getting back on the court. So they cheer me on, encourage me every day. That's why I keep doing what I do.
He was always there in practice, just cheering us up and just carrying us on for practice, even though he wasn't playing. So that just shows what type of guy he is.
And then I have him in my class, so he's a great student as well. Just last week, one of his real good friends, he's like, Junior's just a good vibe, man. And that's what he is.
Congratulations, Samayan.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling, we do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling, quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.com. mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I don't feel so good. You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Mostly clear to partly cloudy, 22 and breezy tonight. Wind chills in the single digits and lower teens by daybreak. Sunny and colder for your Wednesday, the high 39. Warming up into the upper 40s by Thursday with partly cloudy skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones this afternoon is up 221 points to 42,518.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is 5 o'clock. And that means it's time for the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Darnold back to pass, sacked 3 times, dropped the ball. It's a strip sack for the Rams, and it's picked up by Jared Verse, and here comes the rookie. Inside the 30 to the 20 to the 10. Touchdown, LA Rams. Jared Verse with his first National Football League touchdown.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs are set as of last night. Gosh, that was over early, as they say. Minnesota not up for the challenge of the LA Rams. This upcoming week, you'll have Houston at Kansas City, Washington at Detroit, the Rams at Philly, Baltimore at Buffalo. That's a luxurious menu of options.
Stacked.
Stacked
lineup.
We'll start with Houston at Kansas City. This one is hilarious for so many reasons. First of all, Deontay Johnson was cut from Houston.
Yes, he was.
If you followed the saga of Deontay Johnson this year, you understand why that's hilarious. He was traded for scraps in the offseason to the Carolina Panthers, where he had a 100-yard game, an 80-something yard game, caught a couple touchdowns. It looked like he was on his way towards a target-filled season. Somehow the wheels fell off that bad boy. He ends up being traded for, again, almost nothing to the Ravens, where the reports are he asked not even to go into the game. They said, "You're in." He said, "No." They said, "You're cut." He said, "All right." Then he clears waivers. He gets picked up by Houston. Houston wins a playoff game. He has a catch in the playoff game. And he gets cut before the second playoff game. The reports are that he was pouting, essentially, in the post-game locker room because he didn't get the ball enough, didn't play enough, didn't have enough targets.
Imagine that. Yeah, your team wins a playoff game. Wham.
You caught a ball in the playoff game.
You literally just got there.
You contributed something off the waiver wire heap. And then the other part that's funny about Houston at Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown a pass in a game since Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't that feel like a really long time ago?
Because it was a long time ago. It was like 3 weeks ago.
He hasn't thrown a pass in a game since Christmas, and Saturday isn't like tomorrow. There's still a handful of days before Saturday.
That's right, because he sat out the last game of the season because they had number one locked up, and they had a bye. Wow.
And they had that 3 games in 11 days, so it ended on Christmas. So then there were games after that, but he played early in that week. It was a whole thing. Washington at Detroit. To me, Washington and Jaden Daniels, they're playing with house money. A rookie quarterback won a road playoff game. If this is where it ends this year, gangbusters, huge success. But if you win, sky's the limit. Rams at Philly. Philly's the better team, but the Rams weren't the Rams yesterday. Matt Stafford looked dangerous at times. If you get good McVay and good Stafford, crazier things could happen. And then the game I'm looking forward to, as much as any game that I hadn't had like a real reason to care about in a long time. Baltimore at Buffalo.
Fun.
Lamar versus Josh Allen. You know what I think they should do? And I'm only half kidding here. Like, part of me actually thinks they should do it.
Okay.
You know how, like a rivalry game in college, they put the trophy in like one of the end zones, and as soon as the game is over, everyone runs from the sideline and they grab it like Paul Bunyan's axe or whatever, and they run around on the field with it? I kind of think they should do that with the MVP trophy. Just put the MVP trophy on the field somewhere, and then whichever quarterback wins, Lamar or Josh Allen, gets to run and grab it right after the game. It's that close. I'm team Lamar should win the MVP. I think there's great arguments for it. I think there's good arguments for Josh Allen as well, but I think it's close enough that if you just told them, settle it on the field.
Plant the flag.
Gee, exactly.
Let's plant flag. I want flags planted this weekend, Tim.
Exactly. I want it. I think it would be really fun. Like, not only is a chance in the AFC Championship on the line, whoever wins gets the MVP and gets to celebrate on the field.
And plants a flag.
Flags everywhere.
Yes. Flags planted.
Well, that was number 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Across the ring, Orloff shot, save made, rebound, game over! Sebastian Aho fills the lane, and his 600th career point gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
That's what it sounds like when the Canes are fun. Actually, Dennis, I'll come to you for this.
Okay.
Kochetkov, the obviously goalie, for those of you not paying super close attention to the roster. Kochetkov didn't practice today?
So he didn't practice with the main group.
Okay.
He actually practiced with Paul Schomfelder, the goalie coach, before practice today. So he actually got one-on-one with Schomfelder. Because Freddie Anderson is practicing, there is still Dustin Tokarski. So as opposed to 3 guys alternating between reps, it was like, hey, Kochetkov, get a little one-on-one time outside of the group, and then Freddie Anderson and Tokarski practice with the main group today.
What do you make of that?
I think it's a chance for Kochetkov to, for me, it feels like almost like, hey, let's just mentally focus on you right now. Focus on fine-tuning small things. I think that's really what it is. Hey, good chance for us to get just some one-on-one attention, and we know you're fine come tomorrow going into Buffalo.
It's fascinating. A, because goalie is such a interesting position overall. But I've never played a sport. I think it probably happens with pitchers. But I stopped playing baseball when I was a preteen. I've never had a sport where that makes sense, to like take the player kind of out of the team practice atmosphere, because there's never really a job you can do with like taking the quarterback and being like, all right, everyone's going to practice at 11. You're going to come out with your position coach at 2. It's like, well, I need somebody to catch the pass, coach. Like I need a center. Like what are you talking about? Basketball. It's like, what are we going to do? Just defensive slides? Like you need other people for me to go through drills. So it's interesting. And actually it goes into what I was saying yesterday, which is you have to find the way to get your goalie back on the right mental track. And that's why coaches are paid the big bucks. It's not like someone with like a bad shooting form in basketball, and you're like, all right, we just got to get you 10,000 shots with your elbow closer in. It's not so black and white. The other thing that happened for the Canes yesterday was the alumni game.
I was going to say real quick,
Okay,
when I
ahead.
coached lacrosse,
All right.
there were times where I felt if my goaltenders had taken too many shots in games and stuff recently, at a practice, I might work with them more individually and then keep them super limited in actual team drills. So that's
just
something,
a volume thing, like an exhaustion thing?
Exactly, there's a volume thing. So, and also, hey, you and I were going to work on just technique, just kind of reset, refocus, get less volume, but it's going to kind of hone in on a couple fundamental things that you might be kind of getting away from. So it might be that too.
This is not exactly the same, but I think it's hilarious. There's a social media video going around of Ohio State's football practice, and the drill is simple. Running backs, 2 hands on the ball, are running between 2 assistant coaches, and they both have linebacker pads, which are like handheld pads, not the big tackling dummies, like little shields almost, and they're just smacking the running backs, right? So they run through, 2 hands on the ball, boom, and it is unbelievable. It is like wildly noticeable that they are hitting the 2 starting running backs, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Junkins, like, there's not an exaggeration, 3% as hard as they're hitting everyone else. The starters come through and they're like, pop. Then the backups come through and it's wham. And you just like, and there's some people on social media like, they're setting the precedent. I'm like, no. Those guys get worked over in games. They don't need more contact. The other guys don't get hit that often anymore at this point in the season. They need to feel what it likes to get smacked. So there is an element of coaching of just recognizing who's had enough and who hasn't yet. So maybe that's all it was, just resetting a little bit. As I started saying there, the alumni game also took place yesterday. It was the Canes alumni, the Legends, against the Ice Pack, right? The NC State club hockey team. Rod Brindamore scored. Nice little drag it across the face of the goalie in the side door. Here's Rod Brindamore and how it felt to play in the alumni game.
No, that was the part. It was great. Just being around those guys in that environment, kind of, I know it's old guys, hacking it around, but it still feels kind of the same when you're out there with them. And just the camaraderie that we have is that was a special night for me.
Now, I think he'll say it maybe with a little smirk, maybe a little wry smile. How tough was that, guys? Is it really that difficult? Haven't played in how long? Have a feel for it. Find the back of the net, fellas. Again, there's a wry smile there, but part of it is also Rodmore going like, guys, I would have done it.
Hey, if he wants to hack it around with some old guys, I got a beer league team that's got an extra roster spot. He can easily come join on.
Be careful what you wish for. All of a sudden, you're not going to get the puck ever.
No, if anything, I'm going to get the puck a lot.
Actually, that's true. You're just going to have it placed on your stick in front of the net, the goalie out of position. I mean, it's always fun to see that kind of stuff. And it's always fun to see those guys having fun, which is exactly what they were doing. Again, I'll say it one more time. I think other sports should figure it out. Hockey does a great job with that. And the Canes do a great job with it, but all NHL teams do a really good job with it. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
Bryce throws deep downfield.
Oh, he's open.
Coker wide open. He's got the 45. He's got midfield. Down the right sideline. Nobody to beat. Jalen Coker, 83 yards for the score.
Do you think maybe that 80-something yard touchdown from Bryce Young to Jalen Coker was when Jarrett Jones said, you know what, I'm not bringing Mike McCarthy back. Not if they're giving up long touchdowns to the Panthers. Mike McCarthy reportedly out of Dallas, which means they're looking for a coach. And speaking, we're going to mix the last one, right? What'd the Canes do? They brought the Legends back into the building, let everybody celebrate them, sold some tickets. I think Jerry Jones might be thinking of doing the same thing with Deion Sanders. Bring him back into the building, let him be the coach, celebrate. Here's Adam Schefter on the interest between prime time and the Cowboys.
I spoke to Deion last night, and he said to me that he was not intending to go to the NFL. Not that he will go to the NFL. That's not what he was thinking. But that the love and respect he has for Jerry Jones is so great that if Jerry Jones calls him, he's always going to listen. Jerry checked in with Deion yesterday, and they'll continue talking. But I said to Deion last night, so what's next? And he said, I don't know. So I think everything's really up in the air. Maybe that means talks intensify. Maybe it means they don't. I don't think he knows right now. And by the way, I think that's probably also true for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, that's really convenient for Deion. Oh, I just respect Jerry so much that I have to take the call. Yeah, you also respect probably the pay bump and the ability to coach in the NFL, and you probably would have taken the call if it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. But this gives you a reason to be like, nah, Colorado, don't worry. I just respect Jerry. This is the way I look at this. Gosh, it'll be entertaining. If it happens as a not Cowboys fan, give me my popcorn and let me see how this all goes down. Do you know what I actually think it is, though?
What's that?
I think Deion wants more money from Colorado, and the way you get more money from your current employer is to bring an offer from a different employer for more money. Got a buddy that has done it a bunch of times. He's called me. He works in New York, and he goes like, "Hey, what do you know about?" And he names a city in the South, and I go, "No, sometime." Actually, one time it was around here. One time it was Atlanta. Right? Just does like is it a good place to live? And I'm like, well, why? And he goes, well, because I'm taking an offer from that city to my boss, and if they don't match it, if they call my bluff, I'm gonna have to accept this job. And every single time he's come back to me with, no, they matched the offer, so got a boost. Don't have to move to Atlanta. That's kind of Deion, right? Go to Colorado. Hey, Dallas wants me to be their head coach. Jerry's already talking about it publicly. Adam Schefter was talking about it on ESPN. But I'll stay here for another $4 million. All right, that looks like I'm staying. Way to go, Colorado. And meanwhile, Jerry and Deion laugh all the way to the bank. As if, I don't even know. Does Jerry, does he go to the bank? I assume he has someone that does it for him. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Taylor going to drive hard against Cadeau. He shot blocked by Jalen Washington. Into the hands. Washington has it. That's it.
Wow.
The horn sounds. Jalen Washington with a double-double and the game-sealing block. Taylor going to drive hard against Cadeau.
That was from, I believe, the NC State UNC game over the weekend. Here's how far the ACC has fallen. NC State UNC. Play a game down to the wire. Tar Heels at Wolfpack. There's the reigning ACC Player of the Year on the floor. There's a team that is the defending ACC tournament champions and was in the Final Four last season. There's 5-star recruits. They're on the floor. It plays down to the wire. Team scores with less than a minute left, gets a block at the other end to win. Tar Heels win. That is also 2 teams that didn't even receive any votes in the latest AP poll, playing each other in a game that did not really impact the ACC standings at all. That's how far things have fallen. The AP poll came out a couple days ago, or yesterday. Feels like a couple days ago. Duke is 3rd. Nobody else in the top 25 for the ACC. And guess what? The 4 leaders in the also receiving votes category, also not from the ACC. Louisville is 5th and also receiving votes. Clemson is 8th and also receiving votes, which would put them, if you do continue the rankings, 30th and 33rd. Gosh, that stinks. It stinks. It stinks for a bunch of reasons. It stinks because unless you beat Duke in the ACC right now, the biggest win potentially remaining on your schedule is the 30th team in the AP poll, Louisville, also receiving votes. How are you supposed to gain all the way up into the receiving votes category or even all the way up into the AP poll if there's no Goliaths to slay? Right? You need that moment. You need something to do to level up. Right? It's the equivalent of, and for some reason this is the plot of so many movies. There's somebody at work and right there like in a desk job and there's a big presentation and they're asking for the presentation and they want their boss to give it to them because they never have these opportunities to show what they can do. That's what the ACC is, right? They're like, please give me the Catalina wine mixer. I can do it. And there's just no Catalina wine mix. There's no opportunity for them to show what they can do. There's no big Goliath to slay other than Duke. So Duke every year, they like to say they get everybody's best shot. This year even more so because they're, the only trophy fish out there to catch. That AP, it bummed me out. You scroll to the bottom, start looking through that also receiving votes category. At least last week, what was it? It was Pitt they were 26. They were the first in the also receiving. I was like, all right. That's not even happening anymore.
And Duke blew them out.
Yeah. Go figure. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Cooper backs down Smith, goes right by him, missed the layup, dunks it down to say goodnight on the follow. 1:10 to go, the lead back to 11.
Speaking of Duke, they're playing Miami tonight. This is a game between if you just look at the standings, right? You're just looking at the records in conference and everything. This is from the number 1 team in the ACC to the dead last team in the ACC.
The worst.
That's what Duke versus Miami is. Miami, 0-5 in conference play, 4 wins overall, none against major conference opponents. Their coach already quit. They're having a rough go of it. Duke, on the other hand, they've been pretty dominant. So it creates a challenge, I would say, for Miami. They got to go out there and try to play well above the level they've been playing. But it also creates a challenge for Duke because, and this is true, you see it in college football during the portion of the schedule where the behemoths are playing FCS opponents. And what happens every single year? One of them is up 3 at halftime. There's Auburn is up 3 on Austin P, something along those lines, and everybody, and then Auburn rolls them. That just shows that Auburn didn't show up ready to play because they knew they didn't have to. And I'm not equating Duke as Auburn and Miami as an FCS opponent. I'm just saying the same logic applies. Duke could win this with their C- game. I think there are teams in the middle of the ACC that could beat Miami with their C game. So of course the team at the top of the standings could. So how do you go in and make sure that you're on your P's and Q's? Make sure that you don't take the night off. Well, I said it earlier. You set mini goals. You set up other things that might be more challenging. And I don't think any coach will ever say this because then you start breaking rules. But it's like, cover the spread. Right? This is a team that we're 20 points better than. Let's make sure we beat them by 20 points. I've been on the winning and losing end of that. Right? I've played games where the opposing team, going back to my college career, was way better than us and we stuck with them. Right? And after the game, it feels like we won. I've also been in games where the opposing team is way worse than us and they stuck with us, and even though we may have emerged with the W, you feel like you lost. If this is a single-digit win for Duke, they should feel like they lost. Malik Brown is out. He's out for the foreseeable future. He's their defensive stopper. That's kind of the role that he's played since coming over in the transfer portal this year for Duke. I think that's, in a weird way, an opportunity. You never hope for injuries. But in sports, they happen. And actually, I'll borrow a saying that was, I think, borrowed from someone else who got it from the Navy SEALs. That was passed along to us by our big boss here, Brian Gruby, at our all-staff meeting today. Embrace the suck. Right? He was telling us when obstacles hit, when challenges hit the company or your department or whatever, embrace it, right? Don't whine, don't complain, embrace the suck. If I'm Duke, I'm looking at that for Malik Brown. Like, your defensive stopper's out. You can whine, you can complain. Especially if you're the one that now draws the tougher defensive assignment. Oh man, I was going to shoot a bunch today. Now I got to guard Nigel Pack, who can really fill it up for Miami. Or you could walk in like, sweet, now I get to show that I'm a number 1 option on defense, right? There are some challenges that come with players getting hurt. So that's one way to look at it, right? It's all about win and when you're the much better team. We want to win and. Then you fill in the blank and you chase that goal just as hard as you do the win. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the numbers game coming up. I am going to ask for contestants in a second, But first, here's Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Don't go through another year, folks, with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, needs numbers game contestants. Here's how it's going to work. One of you is going to get awesome tickets. This is one of the more exciting concert tickets that we've been able to give away, at least from my standpoint here. We have tickets to see Chris Stapleton at First Horizon Coliseum in Greensboro. The concert is on June 18th. If you want to see Chris Stapleton live and in person, we have a pair of tickets going to the winner of the numbers game. But as that would entail, you have to win the numbers game. We need 2 contestants to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. A pair of Chris Stapleton tickets going to the winner numbers game next.
Evan Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Green Bay Packers simply couldn't beat the elite talent in the NFC. They were winless against the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and now the Eagles. Lost 2 games to both of those teams. They were good. They were not good enough. That, to me, is the story of the Green Bay Packers this season. So it was a good season, not a great one.
Unsportsmanlike. Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This just in, Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches, and our new hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all of the best-in-class equipment we've always had. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime.
Deal extended through January 16th.
See Home Club for details.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics, and proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door,
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Chris Stapleton tickets are on the line in today's numbers game. And I'm looking forward to giving them to either of our contestants if they earn it. We have Thomas in Princeton. We have Tyler in Durham. And they are getting ready to battle it out. However, first we have to decide who goes first. And the way we do that is I ask him a question. Dennis, then as the judge, picks his favorite answer. And that person gets to go first. We'll start with Thomas in Princeton. Thomas, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The question for today is, Deion Sanders is getting an interview with or at least talked with Jerry Jones about the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job. You could pick your favorite team. You could pick any team. Which former player that might be a little... maybe not, don't pick like Mike Vrabel for the Patriots because it's happened. Which former player do you think should get an interview? Could go as crazy as you want. Could be entertaining. Could be whatever you want. Former player with their team, coaching interview. What are you thinking?
Let's go Peyton Manning, Indianapolis. I'm a big Tennessee fan, so I'll go Peyton Manning.
That works. I imagine he would be a demanding coach. He would not put up with quarterbacks not knowing their reads. All right, so Thomas in Princeton goes Peyton Manning at Indy. Why not Denver? It feels like he's more in the Denver area, right? I might be splitting hairs. Tyler in Durham, you're up next. Tyler, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, in honor of Deion Sanders talking with Jerry Jones about the Cowboys job, if you are the sports czar, which former player are you giving them a head coaching interview with their former team?
Let's go Steve Smith with the Panthers. Ice up, son.
I like your delivery of ice up, son. Dennis, those are the two options. It is Peyton Manning in Indy or Steve Smith Sr. in Carolina. Which one are you going with?
Ice up, son. Ice up.
There it is.
Sounds almost identical. That means that Tyler in Durham gets to go first. Tyler, you ready to roll?
I'm ready.
All right, the categories you get to choose from are NFL, Aaron Rodgers guys. These are all players known for being Aaron Rodgers' friends. NFL, Rookies of the Year. And NBA, the Redeem Team. These are all players from the Olympic team in 2008. Or NHL, Hurricanes only.
NFL, Aaron Rodgers guys.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Devontae Adams, New York Jets.
17.
Correct. Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings.
33.
Correct. Greg Jennings, Green Bay Packers.
80.
Incorrect. Pat McAfee, Indianapolis Colts.
1.
Correct. Charles Woodson, Green Bay Packers.
20.
Incorrect. Greg Jennings, Green Bay Packers.
85.
Correct. Charles Woodson, Green Bay Packers.
24.
Incorrect. Charles Woodson, Green Bay Packers.
22.
Incorrect. Charles Woodson, Green Bay Packers.
23.
Incorrect. Charles Woodson, Green Bay
25.
Packers. You're not gonna enjoy what this answer is because you hit everything around it, but for some reason you skipped it. Charles Woodson, Green Bay Packers. 21 was the number we were looking for. I believe you said 20, 22, 23, 24. There was maybe a 28 in there. I don't know. But you didn't get to 21. You did get Devontae Adams. You did get Aaron Jones. You did get Greg Jennings. And you did get Pat McAfee. So 4, very solid showing, but not quite perfect. So the door is ajar. Go ahead and stand the line. We'll see if it holds up. That means we get to go to Thomas in Princeton. Thomas, you ready to roll?
Yes, sir. I think I'm done, but I'll give it a shot.
Hey, I don't like the lack of confidence there. Come in freewheeling, and who knows what could happen. The categories you get to choose from that are remaining for you are NFL Rookies of the Year, NBA the Redeem Team, that's the 2008 Olympic team, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do Hurricanes.
All right, Hurricanes only. I will give you the team and the player. I will say the team in this one, even though we all know it in this category. More to keep it fair with the timing-wise with the other categories. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. You need 5 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Yes, Barry, Kokaniemi, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Correct. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Correct. Brandon Sutter, Carolina Hurricanes.
12.
Incorrect. Patrick Eves, Carolina Hurricanes.
84.
Incorrect. Brandon Sutter, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Incorrect. Patrick Eves, Carolina Hurricanes.
19.
Incorrect. Brandon Sutter, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
2. It's not a 0. Nothing to be ashamed of. You got Kokaniemi, you got Drury, so you know the current guys pretty well. Sutter, number 16 if you're playing at home. Eves, number 44 if you're playing at home. Not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun, Thomas.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. That means Tyler in Durham is the winner of the tickets. Chris Stapleton, First Horizon Coliseum in Greensboro on June 18th. Congratulations, Tyler.
Awesome, thanks. I've waited months to call in for a really good prize like this, so that's awesome.
I like the idea of timing it up with good prize, and I like the idea of you being so confident you were going to win that you're like, well, I can't call in when there's not a great prize, and I'm gonna win it. Appreciate it. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you to make sure you get those tickets to go see Chris Stapleton at First Horizon Coliseum in Greensboro.
No, thank you.
I do believe this is for everybody out there. I think we have another short show tomorrow.
We do. 5:30. We are off air tomorrow.
So there will be no numbers game tomorrow because I know once we say Chris Stapleton tickets, everybody's going to be like, when can I win? When can I win? Thursday and Friday at this time. So still all week for the numbers game. We just won't have a numbers game tomorrow.
By the way, this broke our streak of consecutive days with having it 5 for 5.
Charles Woodson kept a
Woodson.
Oh man!
Thanks, Tyler. Enjoy the show.
21. Everybody knows in Green Bay he was 21. He was Defensive Player of the Year. 24 was in Oakland. That's actually, if we're going to end, because we had a streak of 4 or 5 straight 5 for 5s, or 3 straight, it's 4 straight 5 for 5s last week into Monday yesterday, which we didn't have one yesterday, by the way, because we got out early. But if we're going to lose a streak, I am glad that it was like, we didn't get 5 for 5, but we got 4.5. Like we were that close. Could have been a little too stark of a contrast if we went from 5 for 5, 5 for 5, 5 for 5, 5 for 5, 1 for 5. Like that would be a bummer. So as much as it is frustrating that we were close, I'm glad it wasn't a complete and total blowout because that would not have been fun at all. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, Coach K has suggested a mega conference as something the ACC should explore. What does that mean? And I'll tell you why. He didn't go far enough. Stick around.
It's bowl season.
Happy New Year!
Listen for college football's best through January 20th. Every major bowl will be brought to you live.
Notre Dame wins it 27-24. The Irish will play for the College Football Playoff National Championship.
Bowl season on 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports is presented by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time.
Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always Bo time.
Just in time for you to have a great new year, it's the Start Something New sales event at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn for 25% off. That's like a quarter of a truck for free. And not just any truck, a shiny new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. See dealer for details. Make this your best year yet. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Soundstation and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Soundstation and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Soundstation and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Soundstation and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. 2025 needs to start clean. Get all that dirt from 2024 out of your carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, every surface in your house. Because in 2025, we're starting Zero Resified. Biggest sale of the year. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned, starting at just $109. And take $100 off your air duct cleaning while you're at it. Offer is open through January 31st, so visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings, plus free home delivery with any base. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
The 2 conferences, power conferences that are ahead, are the SEC and the Big Ten. And so our conference has been a great one. I think it needs to get better. We're down result-wise in both men's basketball and in football, at least the bowl games.
That was Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski on Sirius XM Radio. I would say that was the portion of illustrating the problem. Right? And what do I say when you illustrate a problem? Don't just be a problems guy, be a solutions guy. That's I forget, somebody may have been a parent or something, gave me that advice a long time ago for like life at work. Once you're in the real world, if you're going to bring your boss a problem, have some options for solutions as you present the problem, right? Here's the problem, but here's what we could do. It just makes it so they don't like dread seeing you, right? Every time you walk in, you're bringing problems, and nobody's going to really enjoy having you around. So Coach K illustrated the problem right there, right? The SEC, the Big Ten, they're above the ACC in football and men's basketball. But he did bring a solution, or at least one possible solution, and here's Coach K.
I'd like to see something innovative, like I'd like to see the ACC and the Big East talk and form a mega basketball conference. People are talking about a mega football conference eventually. Imagine if we had the Big East, and you know what? But Connecticut would have the opportunity to play football in our league. At least talk about stuff like that, But I can imagine our footprint.
Yeah.
Come on,
right.
And the quality of basketball to go along with the tradition of basketball in our conference.
Oh, there's the solution. Mega conference time. Mega. You want to make the SEC quake in their boots? Do you know what you do? You thought you were just battling the Big East and the ACC. Oh, no. It's the Big East combined with the ACC. I hope they have some kind of like decoder rings that they can tap together to unite forces.
Connect like Voltron? All right.
Voltron, what's that from?
Never mind.
All right. Listen, I love innovation. I love ideas. I love brainstorming. I love all of that. Coach K's and I said this earlier, Coach K's being too nice. That's Coach K like at the podium after a very hard-fought 12-point win over Pitt. You know what we need? We need Coach K after the ref just called 2 touch fouls on his best player. That's the Coach K we need. Throw the jacket. Scream. Pump up the crazies. You need to be ferocious if you're going to catch the Big Ten and the SEC. I don't disagree with anything he said about the Big Ten, SEC. They're doing some things right now that the ACC can't keep up with, and you need to be creative in how you chase them down. What I disagree with is you don't partner. You don't partner. You don't call up the Big East and say, hey, do you want to go in on a conference together? No, you call the best teams in the Big East from a blocked number, and you say you didn't hear it from me, but if you want to join the ACC, we can make it worth your while. If you want UConn, call UConn. If you want Villanova, call Villanova. But don't feel like to get UConn and Villanova, you have to take Butler and DePaul. The SEC didn't partner with the Big 12. They took shots at the Big 12 and brought Texas and Oklahoma and surprised everybody else. The Big 10 didn't create a mega conference with the Pac-12 to keep up with the SEC. They took Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, and they took it by force. Aim bigger. You're the ACC. You don't partner with the Big East. You bully the Big East. And you know what? Try to bully the Big 12. If you want UConn, cool, I can deal with UConn. I think UConn should be in the ACC. But I also want Kansas and Arizona and Baylor. Right? If you want to build a basketball super conference, build a basketball super conference and bring Texas football in with it. Like bring some Baylor in there. Bring some Houston in there. If you want to do it, do it. Be ruthless. Be be the bad business evil entity in a movie, right? They're always trying to shut down the mom and pop shop and bring in some corporate craziness, and they're always like, yeah, you know what? That's gonna get you the villain moniker in a Lifetime movie. But guess what else? In that little Lifetime movie world, within whatever world that story is taking place, my guess is that big-time conglomerate does pretty well for itself. My guess is they're making a good amount of money. My guess is they're pretty darn successful. If the ACC wants to battle the SEC and the Big Ten, you got to be pretty successful, right? You got to go do the things that are unpleasant. Sure, you might, I don't know, end the Big 12 as we know it and all the history that goes with it, but you might get closer to being on the same level as the SEC and the Big Ten. But you might not be an afterthought when automatic bids are discussed into something like the 12-team college football playoff or an eventual 16-team college football playoff. The best way I can think to describe this, and I used it earlier, but I think it's funny, so I'm going to say it again. I think Coach K and many other coaches, I think Tony Bennett, I think somebody like Roy Williams for sure, would be great commissioners of college basketball. If they had to look out for each and every conference, the history, the tradition of the game, if they had to do all of that, I think they'd do a great job. But if they had to put the ACC above college basketball as a whole, I don't think they'd do a great job. That's where you need Rick Pitino. I think you need a Rick Pitino attitude, and what I mean by that is you need somebody with some recruiting violations in their past. Somebody that pushes the envelope. Somebody that doesn't care if they're liked or not. Somebody that just wants the success of the people they represent, and if it comes at the expense of the others, so be it. And you have to acknowledge that that's not in everybody. That's not inside everybody's personality. Not everybody can look at a dying conference and say, good. Like the Big Ten did to the Pac-12. You think anyone in the Big Ten felt remorse when Washington State and Oregon State held a Pac-12 media day? They had two teams. They held a Pac-12 media day. Do you think the Big Ten was sitting there going, oh, that's just, man, why did we have to do that? No, they were sitting there laughing at them, saying thank you for Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA. And when we get a bigger media rights deal because of it, we will raise our glasses with our $50,000 champagne filled inside it, and we will toast to you and your demise. You don't partner with the Big East. You take whatever is valuable out of the Big East and leave the carcass there to fend for itself. That's how you get a Big Three. And the scary part is, it is very much if things seem quiet, it means they're not talking to you. Right? If the ACC is sitting around going, oh, it's nice that this realignment thing is kind of quieted down, that means somebody is in the ear of Clemson, somebody is in the ear of Florida State, somebody is in the ear of UVA and UNC, somebody is in the ear of all of them. It is, what's the saying? Like, you're always either moving forward or you're never standing still. You're getting better, you're getting worse. You're never standing still.
You're either climbing up the ladder or going down it.
That's kind of the way I look at conference realignment. Mm-hmm. You're either trying to get more powerful or you're getting less powerful, whether you know it or not. I love when they ask at Media Day, like Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, are you looking at any expansion this year? Oh, no, we love the teams we have. Yeah, my eyeball. We didn't know you were looking at Oklahoma and Texas till Oklahoma and Texas were pretty much announcing they were joining the SEC. You're not going to tip your hand. I like Coach K looking towards the future. And I said that earlier too. I want to give credit there that he is as entrenched in like the old ways of college sports of anyone that's really maybe in history. So I like that he's at least expanding in his thought process and willing to look at an unusual or non-traditional conference setup. I think he needs to take it further.
Like I said, at least came with an idea.
Yeah.
At least thinking outside the box in some way, shape, or form.
As I say often, there's a lot of situations where I think we should genuinely put no bad ideas and genuinely think it. You ever been in one of those brainstorming meetings?
Mm-hmm.
You're in the big conference room. They have the whiteboard. Someone's like, no bad ideas. Everybody's still hesitant to talk because they're like, oh, everyone's going to make fun of me for this idea. It's like, no, like if you can genuinely get a room of people who will not say bad idea to anything, that's good. So it's not a bad idea from Coach K. I think he needs to pour gasoline on the idea, light it on fire, and make it a more extreme version of that idea. That's what I think he needs to do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
By the way, Nick from Durham, when I mentioned at the beginning of this segment, talk about the ACC and Big East, and you're just like, yeah, connect together in some way. And I said, connect like Voltron.
Yep.
And you said, what's that from?
Yep.
And I just said, never mind. Nick from Durham called in and said, if you don't know who Voltron or what Voltron is, then you're too young to have such confidence in your opinions.
I wish I could laugh. I still don't know what it's from.
That's just.
And I see you tweeted out. You tweeted out a GIF.
Yep.
If that's what it's from, I still don't know what it's from. So we'll have to do some education.
Yeah,
at some
just
point
research Voltron.
Voltron. All right.
Animated series from the day.
Will do. I will. I'll look into it. I'll also look into Overdrive coming up next with a conversation about where the Hurricanes are in their season. Some audio from Seth Jarvis. It was played earlier today. Stick around for that. And also be back tomorrow. Follow us on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan. Have a great night, everybody.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, I love the fact that the Tar Heels have won their last 2 games. Here's what I am worried about, though. They're doing it without being able to rebound the ball on the offensive end. They have to get second chance points. That's what their offense has been built on forever. Since I have been alive, they have lived on the offensive glass. This team can't do it. They just don't have enough size.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
What's this?
We're expanding the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club.
That's a pretty big wrecking ball.